Whale. Welcome to episode 69 with our special guest and movie buff, Michael O'Connor. Now, this is a longer episode than normal, so stick with us. It might take you a couple of dog walks or a couple of drives or whatever you do whilst listening to us. We won't judge. We discuss confidence, bullying, the vaccine debate, Tesla robots, politics, and lots of discussions on movies, of course. Do enjoy. Welcome back. We're on a special number of an episode. It is number
69.
So we thought we'd get on our most sexual favorite special guest, which is weird since he's part of my family to say that out loud. It's my big cousin Michael. How you doing?
I'm good.
So we've got to pretend like we didn't just do a half an hour episode like you're just Sean.
Do you want me to wear my hat different maybe? Boy.
Yeah, that's a good look. That's a good
It
look.
might sound a bit better now.
Your sound's good, man. You got the mic on or just the light?
Yeah. Got the Michael Knight on.
Fan dabby dozy. What the fuck were we just saying? We were just saying something.
I was saying how
sexual.
crap Lady Gaga is.
It was a sexual thing.
Try and defend her. Try and defend her acting. I'll wait.
That's for you, Michael.
No, we were actually talking about her, and I thought she was decent in Star is Born. That
Oh, no, you're wrong. Sorry.
House of Gucci was absolutely deplorable, and I think she wasn't that bad in Joker. She wasn't great. She didn't do anything, but there's something. I think she's one of those people that's got potential, but it's really hard to break. I mean, Cher did pretty good in the film industry, but she's still Cher. Madonna's Madonna.
Yeah. Madonna did a lot of films, but yeah, she was always
you really
Madonna
need to
in the film.
You need to be exceptional to be able to break away from. And even, to be honest, let's
Hey,
face it.
Cher did Mask. Great movie.
The what?
Mask.
Mask, that's what I'm saying. So she did those earlier films that were really good, but then once she won the Oscar, I don't know, she kind of went, it was all about the music again, do you know what I mean? But even like Jared Leto, just now, he's just a rock star now, and to watch him in anything's, he won't even cut his hair for a film part. Do you know what I mean? The way he walks on stage, he literally looks like whatever film he's in.
I've not heard.
You can't say Jared Leto's a bad actor though. Like, he is a good actor.
Jared Leto's a great actor, but he's now got that rock star image that's really hard to shake. I've yet to see him in anything in the past 5 years where he doesn't look like Jared Leto, the rock star.
Yeah, the thing is with him, he's a proper method actor, isn't he? So he's very picky with what he takes, I think. Because remember Requiem for a Dream?
Epic.
And then he was brilliant in American Psycho.
Yeah, he was great, and one of his best one was Lord of War with Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah.
He was a younger brother. He was just struggling with him selling arms to.
And I know it wasn't everyone's favourite Joker, but he played it well.
Again, it was more the movie than it was him, and apparently they cut out hours of footage of
yeah, did you hear what he used to do to the cast on that? Will Smith, hated him.
Send them rats and all that.
Yeah, like switchblades, like dead animals.
Yeah, there's method and there's madness.
Well, he was meant to be like 50-50, like Batman and Joker, wasn't he? And he ended up being like a little bit part for 10 minutes in total.
He just won the Oscar, so people were like, right, let's.
But he clearly committed, and then they fucked him. Like,
yeah, he put a lot of time into that.
And ironically, everybody goes on about Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. Oh, she's like the best, and yet,
nah.
I don't know. Again, that film, it probably had, what is it, the Air? They want the Air version, the Air cut.
Well,
DC went through a few years of just having miss after miss. They couldn't get it right, could they? And I think their best one was when they brought Wonder Woman back. The first Wonder Woman movie.
First, yeah. Second,
do you know that this is the most strangest thing, right? It's Batman versus Superman, or Superman versus Batman, what it's called.
That was stupid.
I've watched that movie probably more times than I've watched my favourite movie. And I don't know why. There's something about it it's a really, really... Honestly, I hated it the first time I seen it. I probably disliked it the second time I seen it. And it's one of those films that's always on, so you watch it, and there's something really... It's actually a really good movie, right up until the last 20 minutes where it goes all that CGI and they're fighting a big monster. It just loses track. But that full film before that, I've watched it, and I've watched it more than I've watched my favourite films, I swear to God. And there's
Do you
just
know? Just on that, the whole point, the reason I didn't like it was because the premise made no sense. Like, they were fighting, right, for something that really could have been a conversation. And they had no real reason to be against each other. And the thing that stopped them from killing each other was the fact that their mums have the same name.
Martha.
It's like, we do. And the
No,
CGI was so bad, wasn't it?
but ironically, nobody ever connected that Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent's mums were called Martha.
That was what stopped them from killing each other. Oh, your mum's got the same name as mine. Oh, fair enough. Let's go and get a beer.
But to be fair, it is still, there is no better Batman fight scene than in Batman vs Superman. When
No, you're wrong again. I'm sorry to do this to
What,
you.
when it goes slow motion with the Flash?
no. When he goes to rescue Superman's mum, and they're all in the warehouse, and he goes, and it's the best. I think it's the best Batman fight scene. He's used. It's not that Christian. It's not the Christian Bale stuff.
Can't have it. No, the best Batman fight scene was Adam West doing the dance off.
Right, that's not fair. You can't bring Adam West wins everything. Do you know what I mean? See,
He went into politics afterwards, didn't he? He was the mayor of Quahog.
of course, but you know something, and that's something. See that old Batman movie, and I watched that 1,000 times as a kid, right? That still today is the only film that gave you the complete rogues gallery. It had the balls to actually give you the Penguin, Riddler, Joker, Catwoman in one sitting.
It's also got one of the greatest scenes in any film ever made, ever.
With a shark.
The shark scene. The shark when he turns around, there's all them repelling sprays, and he's got one that says shark. He just sprays the shark.
Shark
hanging on him, isn't it?
Well, isn't it? That's the phrase used in Hollywood still today, called jumping the shark, when they do something too ludicrous in a film, but it somehow works. When they put in a weird bad guy at the end, or they do something mad, they go, well, in this film, we decided to jump the shark. And that's what it means.
Actually, no, the other good scene is shortly after that, when the bad guy's boat's there. And then they cut away and go, they've gone. And they just turn around, it's just not there anymore. Just moved it.
But, you know, in Dark Knight Rises, they literally jump the shark. That's the scene at the end with the big bomb. They're recreating the Adam West bomb, dropping the bomb on the shark, but with like it's literally the copy, the ending.
If he'd used bomb repelling bomb spray on the bomb, maybe.
Well, see, since it's episode 69 and it's a sexual kind of thing, did you read the thing recently about Adam West was banned from Colorado because he had literally banged every woman in Colorado? They actually banned him. They banned Adam West from coming to Colorado for like 10 years.
That. He used to film Batman and have women come to his trailer in between takes. And he used to have like 5 a day.
The actor that played the Riddler, what's his name? Is the old Riddler?
What, Robin?
No, the actor that played the Riddler. They went to an orgy together.
Yes, sounds like the original P. Diddy.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Westy in your house.
How bizarre.
A lot of lube was used with those guys. A lot of baby oil.
God, see, that's what's weird. Like, now, everything's... we probably shouldn't go into that stuff, but the stuff that is, like, outrage now is, like, in the 60s and 70s was just like, oh, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday now. Oh, it's orgy day. Yeah, Tuesday afternoon, 3 p.m. Orgy? Why not?
Look at all the stuff with what's his name? Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Roman Polanski.
All I think of is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when you say that.
Where he basically abused a 12, 13-year-old, sodomized her, and the mother was like, that's all right, I gave him permission.
The fuck?
And Jack Nicholson and all that, and actors to today, even Pierce Brosnan was asked, because he done a Roman Polanski movie maybe 10 years ago, and he was asked, and he was like, well, at the end of the day, it wasn't rape, but he had permission. You're like,
not too sure that's how it works.
No, it's a child home, and so it's amazing how many people back him. That's my point. It's like I think Hollywood, it really is. It's its own planet.
If we're going to a disgusting thing, Lost Prophets guy, his mum, the mother wanted him and had a baby, not with him, and she allowed him to do things to a baby. I'm talking less than 1 years old, and she allowed it. That doesn't
that's
make it legal because the
I would
mum fucking allowed it. That's
I would
ludicrous.
I would set him in fire. I think I think we should
I
just
think
change the
he's
subject
I
because
think he's close to death. I think he's been beaten to fuck so many times in prison.
it's just disgusting, isn't it? Like, but
Yeah.
again, I think Hollywood. I just think they live in their own. They literally live in their own planet, and there's just.
Imagine getting that amount of money and just being like, you'd never
I
have to
just,
work.
I'd just be happy being rich. Do you know what I mean? And
You do
successful. I
one
don't know.
film, you never have to work again a day in your life, but you get greedy and you want to keep going, and then other doors open to you that are you
Well,
don't
Joe
want.
Rogan says it best. Says actors are just attention seekers. Like that's why they get into it.
How dare
They
you?
they want the attention, don't they? Attention seekers. You never have an actor that was like shy, would you? Like, oh no.
Show
I,
offs.
I'm pretty shy, to be fair.
Are you fuck?
No, I genuinely am. And to be honest, that's how I've said it before. Like, see, like public speaking and all that, or that's just not my. That's why I like characters because I'm trying to escape. You know what I mean? There's a reality that
I
I would rather just
suppose.
delve into the fantasy. You do get people that are total extroverts and they're like, "Look at me, jazz hands," and
Yeah,
I
because
know that. I know they're.
I was listening
All
to
the new stars coming to Hollywood like that.
I was listening to like as a complete narcissist, I was listening to an episode of Ragewell today, and it's really good, guys. You should listen to it. It's good. Um, and I was talking to friend Eleanor from last week, and I mentioned to her in passing that I wanted to get Michaela on our show, but I asked her.
Michaela Strachan.
No, Michaela Knight, and she didn't want to come on. She said it's not quite her thing. She's not confident enough. And we made the comment, yeah, she's quite shy. And I'm like, she might be listening as well. And I'm like, she ain't shy. Like, she is like 6 foot, beautiful woman. And I met her in her pants in public, walking down catwalks. She is confident as fuck. But when you speak to her, she's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quieter. But she does everything she needs to do on the catwalk. Like, she fucking slams it on the
Do
catwalk.
my little turn on the catwalk.
But in person, she's quite shy and chilled. But but that's the thing. Everyone's different. Like you say, you're an introverted extrovert almost, and I'd say the same. I'm confident here and I'm confident in my job, but in public, unless I'm around my friends or
Yeah,
people I like or can get on with, I'm not that. I'm just keep myself to myself.
I like being around strangers.
Well, then
I
you
think
can. That's 'cause you can make up your own identity. No one needs to know
Yeah,
who you
you can
actually.
make stuff up, can't you? It's great.
I've always kind of found myself see I was in somebody's house and all that. Initially, I'll be the quiet person
That's
until
if you're burgling them.
yeah, tiptoe. But if I start liking my company and things like that, then my levels probably go up a notch or two. Do you know what I mean? And then by the end of it, I'm trying to steal the show. So
See, I think I would call both of you extroverts. That's my opinion of you both. That's not a
I'm a
bad
good
thing,
boy.
James. The way you looked at me
I
there,
resemble
like
that
I
comment.
called you a piece of shit. Like Jay, right? Ever since I've known Michael, obviously you've been my big cousin, therefore we've been family, so you're going to be open to things and whatever. But you've always been one of the loudest
Where's this
people.
going?
You've always been one of the loudest people in the room, the funniest person in the room, quite pretty one of the most knowledgeable people. Whether you're bullshit or not, I don't know. But when I was a kid, I
I
didn't.
try.
As far as I know, you weren't. So you're like life of the party, and I'd say James is like identical, different personality, obviously, but James is the same. Like when I met James, in at work at Curry's, he was the fucking nut job that was loud doing mental shit like
Oh, yeah.
jackass stuff
I
when
can
he
see
shouldn't
that.
have been. And then when we started hanging out and going to parties and stuff like that, we all dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. That's the uniform of children of the noughties. James was gold trousers, bright pink jacket, and long blonde hair, sunglasses during the day, looking
Fur
like
coats.
look
A lot of
looking
fur
like
coats.
if you ordered Motley Crue off of Wish, that's what turned up.
Oh, by the way, quick one. Did you see how they arrived to a gig the other day?
Who, Motley Crue?
Yeah,
No.
it was amazing. This like American, you know, the American bin lorries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It backed up right. The back of it opened and it started tipping. This like mattress and bags of rubbish all fell out, and then they all
And they
just
come out.
climbed out on top of it.
80-year-old men just climbing out of a bin lorry.
Yeah, there
Did they
was a
hitch a
younger
ride?
guy though, so I guess they've got some new members. But I reckon I saw Nikki Sixx and Vince Neil. I didn't see
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee or oh god, what's he called? Mick Mars. I think Mick Mars is a lot older than them though, isn't he? So is he
He's
retired or is he?
They were,
He's
they
still
were,
very
alive.
old.
they were
He's about
touring
10 years
last
older
year.
than all of them.
Huh?
They were,
Sorry?
Was that?
they were touring last year. They were
Maybe
in
it was
Glasgow.
from last year then, but I've never seen it before, and I try and keep up on what they're doing. But yeah, I didn't see Mick Mars. Maybe Tommy Lee was there. But yeah, Vince Neil and Nikki Sixx definitely were. Nikki Sixx still looks like the ultimate rock star.
Has anyone actually seen them live?
No.
No, I was meant to with Stevie D actually, but it never quite panned out.
I think I've seen them twice because I think I've seen them at a festival.
I've seen them in a couple of home movies.
I've had the option to see them a couple of times in the last 10 years, but kind of haven't gone because I don't want it to be bad.
Oh no, it was great. I must admit,
You're holding on to that nostalgia.
I went with my one of my directors in London. He's like an old school rocker, and he's like my boss's boss up the top, and he's into like metal, not proper metal, but he took me to an Iron Maiden gig when I first started, and I didn't really know him that well, but we got on because of metal music, and like I'm a little nobody, and he is like running the entire north region of this big fucking company. And he goes, "Oh, do you want to go see Iron Maiden?" And I didn't earn any money yet. I was like, I can't afford it. And he just bought me a ticket, and we went to go and see Iron Maiden. I was like, "You're fucking cool." And
Did
then
he put his finger in you?
no, I did ask, but he said no.
He did, he was there.
He said it was inappropriate.
Hold the
I had an
notion.
opportunity. I got tickets to see Skid Row either last year or the year before, but it's not the real Skid Row anymore. But I was
No.
ill that day, so I couldn't go. But it's not the real Skid Row now. It's just like all completely
Exactly.
I've
Well,
never
well,
been into that band.
I saw Motley Crue about s- forget how long I've been here now. Maybe best part of 9, 10 years ago.
On Earth?
What?
How long have you
No,
been here?
been in Chester for because I keep thinking I was in London a couple of years ago, but it's like 6, 7 years ago now or something.
It goes by like that, Kevin. We're
It's
getting old.
fucking mad. I can never keep track of time. Do you know it's what? Well, what do you know? You know how to count. It's almost in about 4 months' time, 4 or 5 months' time. It's 5 years since the pandemic, since the lockdown. 5 years ago.
Don't bring that up.
Fuck me.
But we lost 3 years with that, so that they don't count.
Yeah, good point.
It's actually only 2021.
But I was going to say, I saw Motley Crue, and they did not disappoint. I went with my director, the one that didn't put his finger in me, that one, and me and a couple of mates went, and Tommy Lee did the famous upside down
Swinging
drum
dick.
kit thing, but normally they do it on stage where they just spin the drum kit upside down, or
Yeah.
it tilts upside down.
Slipknot definitely stole that one, didn't they?
Yeah, and a few bands have done that.
Does his dick fall out?
But did he what?
Does his dick fall out? Just swinging back.
Yeah, he got knocked out by his dick when he was upside down, slammed him on the head. But no, it turned into a roller coaster. So the drum kit did a drum rise, a spin, a turn, an upside down, and then it elevated higher to the ceiling. And there was and it's only at this point you look up and there's fucking tracks above your head. We were like in the middle of
And
Wembley
he's playing
Arena.
the drums upside down.
Yeah, he's still playing. So,
50-year-old man spinning around a track upside down.
yeah, if we were like
Tapping his feet.
100 foot away from the stage, like we're in the middle of Wembley Arena, like the middle of the middle.
All these drugs change.
And he comes up
5 keys coming out of his pocket.
5p's.
The old Kleenex.
Razor
Our
for his
keys.
cocaine.
Kleenex
His house
lands,
keys come out.
Kleenex lands on
Drops
his
a-
forehead, sticks.
Drops his Tamagotchi.
You can see that in a kind of Naked Gun spoof movie, can't you?
Yeah.
All this crap falling out.
But
But funny enough, weirdly enough, I watched
Go on.
Hot Shots the other day,
Oh, I love it.
Part
and there's
duh.
that scene in the plane where it flips and all
All the
stuff
stuff.
falls out from under the seat.
Cats and all that. Yeah.
It's like playing cards, yeah.
Those movies were epic. Honestly, I love.
They
love
joked.
spoofs.
I'm not sure how true it is, but they joked about Joker Folie à Deux about. I listened to a podcast for Empire magazine, the film magazine, and the interviewer's he's really good. He knows like good shit. And he was chatting to Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix separately, and he says the same question to them both. He goes to Joaquin, he goes, "Do you know this is the first film since Hot Shots Part 2 to use the word duh?" And he thought it was hilarious. He goes, "I did joke to him if we do another one, we should call it Part 2." So he was like, "I wonder if that's got any relevance with this."
Do you know
What you
what?
just said is a good segue into something else, actually, because I don't know if you can still get it, but I think it's Empire magazine are
Yeah,
currently doing a special edition Terrifier one with stickers, movie poster, Art the Clown mask, and
you
all
get a
that stuff.
mask with
Because
it.
yeah, only a cardboard one, but it's like collector stuff. Which you actually saw recently, didn't you, Kev?
Terrifier. I'm going
Great.
to see it on Wednesday.
Oh, you've not seen it yet? Oh, interesting. Have
It's
you
only
seen
just
1 and 2?
yeah.
I've seen the
Have you
first one.
seen the prequels are also on Prime now?
Oh, the short films, you mean?
Yeah, All Hallows Eve, and there's 2 other ones. The first one isn't Art the Clown in his current form. The second one he's getting there. The third one, All Hallows Eve, is the first proper Art the Clown.
Can you find it by Time Terrifier? Do I have to put in All Hallows Eve?
Um, just put All Hallows Eve into Prime,
What,
and it'll come up.
what's your opinion on Terrifier, James?
Do you know what? I've actually, and Kev will attest to this, I've talked about this film for quite a while now because I watched it a while back. I bought it on Prime, and I thought the first one was a terrible movie. The first one, the
But
LUT
he,
they used on the
but he was
camera,
good.
or the filter, should I say, on the camera,
Like cheap.
is really disorientating through the whole film. It's really bad and
Yeah.
makes it look just like really low budget and cheap. But I think the budget was something like, can you Google the budget for Terrifier 1? It's so low. I remember seeing it and thinking, I think it's $35,000.
That
So
cost
there's 10 actors. They
that's
didn't even
less.
get 3.5 grand each.
That's less than Clerks.
Well, I don't think anyone got really paid because it was just a film.
No, $35,000 to
Do
make
you
the whole
want to
film.
right? Do you want to know the budget for Terrifier 3?
No, yeah, probably million.
Oh, actually, well, Terrifier. Okay, budget for Terrifier, the number one it says 35 to 55,000. That's pretty vague, but
Yeah, but even that, say it's 50,000 high end, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Then you look at Joker. I think it costs like 400 million.
no, not
That,
400
that,
million.
I think you'd be surprised.
I think it was like 160 million or
The most
something.
expensive
150.
film's coming out in the next year with Brad Pitt called F1, and it's 320 million.
I've got a feeling this isn't going to be. See F1 films. Remember
So
the
it's
one with
200 million to do Joker.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah,
Le Mans was what do you call it? What's that race called?
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Yeah, so
See
you think
the
36, 35,000, say 50 grand. What actor on this planet think how many people in that film?
Sylvester
Right?
Stallone.
I reckon.
Never. He always takes a what do you call it?
But
An
think of all them actors.
equity
They would have
paycheck.
probably done it for free.
Michael, what's the. Actually, you don't have to answer this, so I'm precursing this by you don't have to answer this, but you've done some adverts. What is like a good pay to do an advert
Uh,
as an actor?
the most I've made is like 17 grand
Fuck me
for a
for
day's
doing
work.
an advert.
Yeah.
Okay, so take that
You,
17 grand, put it right down to 10.
you paid pretty much the whole budget of Terrifier.
I auditioned for a commercial a couple of weeks ago, and it was with Harrison Ford. I can't mention what it
Pardon?
is. Harrison Ford.
Blatantly EE or something.
You didn't
No.
meet him. You didn't meet
No,
him.
I didn't meet him. No, I was auditioning
Oh.
for a commercial to do with Harrison Ford. I can't mention it. I'm still gonna.
Fuck.
I've written a disclaimer
What are you allowed to mention?
that
It's with Harrison Ford.
that he's doing a commercial.
So
They-
the next commercial we see him with, he's either going to be with you or you didn't get a
No,
job.
I never got the part. I was raging, but
What I'm saying is, why can't you? What is so secret? Is it the product?
the
Well,
product
it's not out
and,
yet, probably.
and the
It's an
project,
NDA.
aye. So I signed that before.
I'm going to cut this as a clip and put it on social media and tag Harrison Ford.
Aye, so yeah, so but I
I'm
was
sure he's all over TikTok.
had
Yeah,
I
he
got
loves
that had I got that for a day's work, that'd have been 8 grand
Fucking hell.
just for a day's
Okay,
work.
so 4 days work for you would have paid for the whole of Terrifier 1.
Crazy, innit?
And you were saying, what did I think of Terrifier, the franchise?
I went for a commercial. I think I already told you this one. I went for a commercial, and it was for a weed killer company. for a Canadian weed killer company, and it was getting
Yeah.
filmed in LA, 5 days work, and it was worth 250 grand for a
You
weed
could
killer
buy a
commercial.
house.
And do you know who got it? Tony Curran. See the actor Tony Curran?
No, who's that?
Tony Curran. He was in all those kind of vampire movies with Kate Beckinsale, and he's got red
Oh,
hair.
yeah.
You know Tony Curran. He's in everything. Yep. So when I went
We
for
all
that,
hate him now.
yeah, when I went for that audition, I was reading it, and do you know the way I was reading it? I was looking at it and going, they're looking for Hamish from The Simpsons. They're looking for this ginger Scottish guy. I knew that reading it. And then they give it to a Scottish ginger guy. So I was like, ah. But,
Um,
but I was going in for that, and I actually thought it was like, I was kind of insulted because I thought, oh, it's a weed killer commercial. And not really, I didn't know about the money. I was like, that sounds really bad because I'd just done this like T-Mobile advert that paid me great money. So I was like, I'll read for it. And I went in half-hearted, and it was the casting director was kind of talking to me after I had done the audition, which was crap. And he's like that. He says, "Oh, I hope you get it. It's a lot of money." And I'm like that. And I didn't know it was a week in LA. Do you know what I mean? All I knew it was a weed killer. That's all I was told. And I
Oh,
got the script, and it was like 250 grand plus X amount for a buyout, which is when if it goes worldwide, you get extra more money.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
sort of company you want to go. I'll take nothing. I'll take 1% of your profits.
yeah, exactly.
Retire a billionaire.
I know. And a week in LA filming in
Fuck
some
me.
crazy neighbourhood. Do you know what I mean?
what going back to the Terrifier, I think what they've accidentally done, I think it was by accident, because they never made Terrifier 1 is extremely bad, as in it's got shocking bits, but it's a shocker. It's a
I don't think it's bad. I enjoyed it. I
Was
just don't
Terrifier
think.
one?
there's
Is
no
that the one?
plot, there's no story, there's no nothing.
He saws the woman down the middle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just shock value.
Is
It's
that the
just
first one?
shock value, shock value, shock factor. Just put them together. The actual visuals of it is horrible. Like the luck they use, the filter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it definitely looked cheap, and that kind of
The set, and I watched it and said to some people, you watch a bit of a minging film. It's not good, but watch it. The second one had me immediately because of the 80s vibe, and I love all that stuff. With
Yeah.
like all the synths and everything, you could tell the budget had gone up massively. I don't know what the budget for that was. I think it was still only like $1 million, maybe, if that. Um, and I was like, I'm more into this. They had the female character. She was more like the sort of strong character. She was clearly going to be the heroine, whatever.
That's Lauren Lavero.
Okay. Had the brother as well. Had a bit more story, but still just really a B movie shocker. And you're like, yeah, maybe they'll make another one, maybe they won't. And I think with the third one, now it's mainstream because it was never mainstream 1 and 2. Like
it's
you
also
tell people using Terrifier, they'd be like,
it's
"What's
also
that?"
Christmas themed, isn't it?
Yeah. So what they've done with number 3, I think Art the Clown is the next in line to the Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers throne.
Yeah,
Because Saw did it well, but Jigsaw was never a scary bloke. So he never did anything himself.
it was the puppet, wasn't it? That was the
Yeah,
kind of
It was, yeah, and it was also
Fighting
setting
Puppet was
things up.
famous,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he was all, and the actual Jigsaw was always a weak man because he was always ill, like dying. He wasn't going to do anything himself, was he? Whereas they've now put in this supernatural being, like Freddy Krueger, like Jason, like Michael Myers. They're all supernatural beings, and they've now got, rather than rehashing them 3 for the millionth time, they've got a new guy now that could take it wherever.
Well, see, when I watched Terrifier, the one thing that I took away from it is he is a great villain.
Yeah.
He's sitting there smiling and he freaks you out.
Never makes a noise, does he?
I know, and it was the one takeaway. I thought he's a really good villain, but he did remind me of. Did you ever watch American Horror Story?
Yeah.
Did you watch the circus one?
With the clown that shot his face off.
Clown?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had that. It reminded me of him a bit. I thought it was about maybe it was his size. I don't know. There was a wee kind of similarity.
Yeah, I get that. I think he's more of a Freddy Krueger character, isn't he? Because from what I've heard in the third one, they do make a point of saying he's some sort of supernatural entity.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing in number 1. Correct me if I'm wrong, so it was a little while since I've seen it. Michael's seen it the most recent, I'm guessing. He's not supernatural. He's just, as far as you know, he's a serial killer clown. We don't
Yes.
know about dead or coming alive.
It's only in the second one you realise that he can come
Yeah,
back from the dead.
Because no one attacks them, no one kills them.
I've not seen the second one, so
Watch the second one is actually genuinely I enjoyed it. It's
A good
actually
movie.
a good film. Whereas the first one, you know, you're watching some B-rated bullshit that some people liked. I liked. I thought the gore, when I was told how horrendous it is, I watched it thinking, "Oh, this is going to shock me," and it probably showed more than where every horror film turns the camera away and you imagine
The
it.
bedroom scene.
It kept the camera there. No, just on number one.
Yeah.
Don't tell
Oh,
them.
just
Don't
number
tell.
one.
Yeah, don't say about number two. But number one, it just keeps you on it, and it's violent. But
Do you think that violence really adds
no,
anything
it
to it?
takes away the scary for me. I don't mind.
Yeah,
I
so they are.
think we've discussed before. Like
I think if I was 9 or 10 and watching that, I'd have loved it. Do you know what I mean? Like
or
that.
traumatize you depending on your mental capacity.
No, I would have watched that thinking I was watching something that was illegal. Do you know what I mean?
If
Like,
you watch number 2 at the
Do
age of
not say
9 or
that.
10, you'd
Yeah.
have some serious issues.
well, listen, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all that when I was literally
That's got
a
nothing
child.
compared to number 2.
No, I know because
I won't do any spoilers, but Kev, one thing I will say for you is there's a few bits of inconsistencies in 1 and 2. Apparently, like person I work with has seen number 3 and she said it ties all the loose ends together of why you think, why is that? How's that possible? Why is that person even there?
So now you
blah
know.
blah blah. And apparently, number 3 kind of gives it some actual backbone to the story.
I've seen
Because
one
he's Santa
comment.
Claus.
I've seen one comment doesn't bother me at all, but I wish I didn't read it. It said the opening scene is one of the most traumatic scenes of the film. Like it's
Bathroom scene, isn't it? Something.
they open the film
Horrendously.
so that you know you need to leave the cinema now if you're not happy because it's going to get worse. And apparently it's got no relevance to the actual film. It's just a fun violent scene, and then it's never talked about again. I'm guessing it's the Christmas scene, and then Christmas ends, and then we're just normal life.
In a movie.
I think
Yeah.
the Christmas thing actually goes on quite a few scenes.
Well, there might be something wrong then. But
Yeah,
the
it's
first scene,
quite a
apparently,
long thing, the Christmas thing.
All movies are made better when they're set at Christmas time.
All I'm saying is when you watch number 2, everyone talks about the bedroom scene, so
So do
you'll
we.
know what it is. And number 3, everyone keeps mentioning the bathroom scene, so who knows what that is? I haven't seen it, so I'm going to wait till it comes out on Prime, which will be soon, I imagine.
It's kind of like Hostel though, isn't it? Like some of the violence in that.
It's
you're
even
like,
worse because the problem is,
I know it's ramped.
But
completely up,
is it? I think the
Yeah.
thing is like Hostel, not particularly Hostel, but films like that. There's a bit of realism. Like this is a thing that can happen. People do get taken hostage. People do get tortured. When you talk about Terrifier, I think the thing that makes me, I mean, we're horror fans. We're not going to get scared by something like this, but
the things with Terrifier, there's no reason behind his madness. He just kills.
that's not what's scary for me. Like that
I don't think it's scary at all. It's just shocking.
the fact
Yeah.
it's supernatural means it's not scary to me, full stop, because I don't believe in any of that shit. But also, the ultra violence, it's like Inner Violent Nature. The reason I like Inner Violent Nature and Terrifier is because you're watching artists create bodies and tear them apart. There's an artistry to that violence. I'm not seeing gore. I'm seeing how did they make that? How did they do that? There's
Yeah,
no
what you're seeing in
CGI.
Terrifier, though, is something you don't see in any other film since Freddy Krueger, and that's practical effects. There's no special effects in it. It's all practical,
And
which
it
is why
feels
when
better.
you see someone cut up in that, you know it's a physical thing there,
It
which
feels
makes
more
it, for me,
visceral.
sometimes a bit more disgusting, rather than just CGI nonsense. And also, it's just like, it's mindless as well, like shock factor.
It's
It's
a bit
almost like a
icky, yeah.
comic book. It's like reading a comic book or watching a cartoon in real life.
I would rather watch. Remember, like we watched the old A-Team when they threw a grenade and the guys jumped together as it blew up. I would rather watch that nastiness anything over CGI. Like CGI
Yeah,
for me.
well, Terrifier 1 and 2
all
are
of-
definitely practical.
It's
So
like
whether the third one's.
it's like
Have
when
you
you
seen-
have a
have you seen-
Marvel
have-
fight. What's the point?
Have you seen in the films now when they're shooting guns that they're not actually shooting blanks anymore? They're doing this CGI flash. So the actors are actually just going like that. And there's
Yeah.
nothing. And it looks this horrible CGI gun flame or whatever. Like, I didn't know fire shot out of guns when they were shooting. There's a momentary spark, but there's not fire. And when you shoot these guns now, you're like, that looks so bad. Like really, really bad. Like even John Wick films, you're like, no, I just CGI.
It depends on the
Einstein's time.
context. Like if it's meant to be a bit silly and over the top, it kind of works okay within reason. But but again, like because of like the deaths that have happened and injuries, if you're using a practical gun, you, it's easy to do. Just don't have someone standing opposite it. You know,
Especially for shots not required, but also see whatever is a prop gun, then it's
Alec
always a
Baldwin.
prop gun. It's always a prop gun. It's never get the opportunity to be took to a firing range. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, it's the
like
weekend. Let's use that prop
yeah,
gun.
they don't use prop cars for things, and like nobody's driving the Batmobile
Just to go to the shops.
to go to the shops, to go to a McDonald's drive-through. It's the Batmobile. It's sitting, and it's so why are the guns?
It's got one purpose.
Yeah, I find that kind of strange. Only in America.
We'll move off Terrifier in a minute, but just because we didn't answer all those questions, right? So we got the budget for one is 35 grand, 50 grand ish. Anyone got a guess on the budget for number two?
300 grand.
26 million.
James wins $250,000, 250. That's it.
I've never seen it.
And number 3, shall I go with
Go on.
3.2 mil?
5 million. 2?
2 million. So still
Insane.
ultra low budget.
And it's already made, 18 million in its opening week in hardly any cinemas.
It's beat Joker.
Except difference being, Joker was on every screen in every cinema. This is on maybe one screen in some of the cinemas.
It'll only be for a week. If I don't see it Wednesday, I'm not going to ever see it again. But
yeah, that's the big difference.
It says here,
Joker.
when I Googled it, 2016's Terrifier has made its £35,000 budget 10 times over. Terrifier 2 made its £250,000 budget back 60 times over. So Terrifier 2 is a massive success. Terrifier 3, which cost $2 million, is the biggest movie in the US, taking $18.3 million this weekend.
So it's made 9 times. So if you look at it like that, it's very much like a Saw story, because Saw costs hardly anything.
But that's this weekend.
But made loads, didn't it? Saw films didn't cost a lot.
Yeah, but the first 2 films were barely in any cinema. They probably weren't in a cinema. That's probably all streaming or some specialist cinemas.
But if you think Saw made loads of money because it was so cheap to make, it was all done in one little tiny set. Even all the Saw movies now are done in one little warehouse, aren't they? One little set, apart from the one with Chris Rock in it. But that's what Terrifier's done. It's probably, if you look at it as far as like how many times its budget it's made, it's probably one of the most successful movie franchises of all time. Because how many times did you say it made? Number 2 made?
Number 2, 60 times its budget.
60. So say, what's the most successful film this year? Inside Out 2?
Yep.
Inside Out 2.
Let me just work that out. Okay, so Terrifier 2 made 15 million. That's 60 times its budget. 15 million. Yeah. Terrifier 3's already beat that, but it cost
that's
2
just
million.
Cinema sales. That's not streaming and all that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's in a weekend, not in a week or a year. The other ones are judged on. That's insane.
I'm going to do the maths with what Inside Out 2 made, okay? So you talk amongst yourself.
Inside Out 2 is the most profitable film of this year, and it made over $1 billion.
Do you remember that when
made more than Barbie?
Do you remember when the Blair Witch Project came out?
Yeah.
Their budget was like 45,000, and I remember comedians being like 45,000. It was 2 guys and a camcorder. Like they must have been like, yeah, that we spent 10 grand on now as if they just cooked the books.
I know. Yeah, that's.
It must have cost them $500.
I've just googled it. 60,000 Blair Witch, but that's US dollars, and that's back then where the pound would have been less, which would have been $30,000, £30,000.
So I just think, well, what did this? Because it's literally 3 people running around the woods with a camcorder. So like, where is that money?
I think the money mainly went on marketing because they told everyone it was real. They built a website when you can't. Like nowadays, you can just whack a website out for free. Back then, you had to pay a specialist.
When you're doing a billion, how many digits are there in a billion?
It's a million.
There's 9 zeros.
No, it's 100,000 million. Fuck.
There's 1,000 million.
Yeah, 100. No, 10,000 million is a billion.
No, 1,000 million's a billion.
1,000 million. 1,000 million is a billion.
9 zeros and a billion.
9 zeros and a billion.
Not how many digits, not zeros.
10
10.
digits.
So,
So
1
one
billion
dot-
is 1 and 9 zeros.
And then it's 000.000.000.
So there's
Yeah.
2 extra zeros on like a million or something.
3 extra zeros. 1,000,006. Billion is set 9.
Okay.
Use your fingers.
So
Well, I mean, that's a difficult number, isn't it? Have you ever written a billion down before?
1,003, 1,000,006, 1,000,009.
I've wrote a billion down before because I've got a billion things to do on a daily basis.
How much have you got done today? 3. Minus 2.
I've not even started, I don't think.
What you calculating, James?
Well, why is there not like Apple? If you're not from Apple system, why are you such fucking idiots? You don't put a fucking calculator app on an iPad. Why would it not be a thing?
It is on the iPad.
Must be
No,
on-
it's not.
Well,
on your
did you-
tools or
you-
something.
it comes automatic. You must have physically deleted it. You know you've got.
It's
Oh,
under
yeah,
utilities.
What
Is that
what
your
you're trying to
utility?
calculate?
I
60
was trying to
times
work
2
out
million.
how many times. I was trying to divide
Oh, no,
1.6 million
But their
by
budget, their budget was.
1.6 billion by 200 million.
Is that how much their film cost? 200 million.
Yeah,
Say it again. 1.6 million.
1.6 billion.
Oh, there's not enough zeros. Literally, I can't do it.
See?
160 million is the highest I can go.
So they still made 900 million profit, basically.
2 million times 60.
Oh no, 1.6 million. No, they've made 1.4
So
billion.
this new film has to
profit.
make 120 million to do 60 times, but it doesn't need 60 times because it's already gone over.
But that's crazy. 60 times its budget. By the way, if anyone can do the maths to get the exact number, what is 1.675 billion divided by 200 million? Gift in the post, whoever gets it right.
Terry's chocolate orange.
And some of James's pubes.
I don't know. I think you'll need to phone Russell Crowe from A Beautiful Mind to get the answer to that one.
Anyway, has anyone seen, just to change subject, unless anyone's got anything to add, has everyone seen Elon Musk's Tesla Optimus?
I Am Robot.
How good does that look?
The only
Or
thing I want
scary.
to know is, can we fuck it?
What's that from? What's that from?
I've seen so many memes and it's so hilarious. It's a clip of Robocop running. And it says, my Elon Musk
Kev?
robot
What's
running away from his
I can't even get it
from
out.
his 15th hand job. That is funny because you see all these robots that do like the natural thing is, yeah, but you know what I mean? We don't care that it can mow your lawn or it can bring you a drink. We want to know, can you put a skin on it that looks like J-Lo? Oh, terrible,
But
isn't it?
it's already got this action in its program to do the hoovering and stuff. So what's the difference of doing that or putting a knife in its hand and letting it go kill your neighbor? You know, it's going to be programmed for murder.
Kev, by
isn't
the
it?
way, Terrifier 2 is infinitely more successful than Inside Out 2. Infinitely.
In percentages, yeah.
Percentage-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
1.65 billion divided by 200 million is only 8.25. So it made 8 times more than what it cost to make.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And plus, it's like Pixar.
but actual profit, it would have made more, obviously.
Yeah, but you've got to look at it on percentages.
Like
Haven't you? What you
percentage-wise,
pay
not
is
really.
what you get.
No,
It's way more impressive.
I disagree.
Well, no, because if someone, imagine they paid 200 million, and it made 300. They made $1 million. So
What I'm saying right now is that Terrifier 3 is more impressive than Terrifier 2 currently. Terrifier 2 made 60 times the profit, so
which is insane.
which is 250,000 to 15 million, right? So what profit did it make? Basically 15 million, right? Just shy of that.
But I'm looking at percentage
Right.
of thingies
You look
because
at
the money's irrelevant.
But it's not. It's very relevant. It's like the only
No,
thing
but
that's
if
relevant.
Disney made $1 billion movie,
Let me get my point out.
no, listen to this. If Disney made a movie that cost $1 billion, and it made $1.015 billion. That would be considered a massive flop.
I get it. I understand.
And it still made more than Terrifier.
But I'm still saying that, yeah, that's relevant to big budget things. Like if you make a 200 million profit, sorry, 200 million pound film, and you make 50 grand profit, that is a flop. I get it, because it wasn't worth the effort for 50 grand. But when you talk about Terrifier, 250,000 made 15 million, so it basically made 14,750,000. Terrifier 3 cost 2 million. It's already on 8.5. So you take
18.
down. So it's made 16.5 million. So it's already made over. It's made £1,750,000 more than the first one, than the second one. So
But
we're
you definitely
already
got
up.
to put the percentage of cost budget versus box office in
This
there.
is
You
a-
have to.
This is a weekend. Currently, we're on Monday. It came out on Friday.
And once
So
word
But yeah, the
spreads,
guy's a genius.
it's
He's
3
like
days.
spending no money to make. He's printing money basically.
It's a lot of circumstance as well. You know, the lack
Also,
of
it's no
Joker.
risk.
The
It's
lack
no
of-
risk.
Yeah, but the lack of Joker, and it's another clown, makes everyone want to go see this one. And also,
it's almost like a Rage Against the Machine moment in it, with
yeah, it's like
for the box
perfect.
office #1.
If he'd
You've got to
released
look at
it,
risk and reward as well. Disney throw out 400 million on
Di-
She-Hulk and
Di-
lose
Disney
400
has-
million.
Disney has had the most unsuccessful period it's ever had. Like the past 5 years, everything they put out, whether it's Star Wars, it's just bombing because they don't know who their audience is anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they're gambling,
Yeah.
aren't they? The movie industry is a gamble.
And
but
to be
like-
honest,
they're only
no, but-
they're only gambling on like sure bets that people are bored of. Like, let's do Star Wars 59.
No, but I know, but like, when you make Star Wars and you have a robot that goes, "Oh, I didn't identify as a robot. I'm a they them," and you're like, "Oh, just be a robot." Like I
I
think
know,
people,
that's see, like with you guys, like I think you two are in a slightly different camp to me, and I like I'm well up for inclusivity and diversity. I know you guys are as well to a degree as well, but I also with you completely disagree that there should be a robot in Star. It's not part of their world. It's not relevant to
it's not
have.
relevant. And that's my perspective. Again, like if you have an imaginary friend, I don't need to. I'm happy that you've got an imaginary friend, but I don't need to pretend I see your imaginary friend to be inclusive. Do you know what I mean? Like I can just respect that you've got an imaginary friend that you pet, and that's fine. Listen,
Yeah, I respect.
I respect that, but I don't need to be dragged into. And I think when you get non-binary robots and things like that, you just. And I think that's the problem with Disney, and I think that's why it's
Non-binary robot is fucking. That's mental because it's all
Just a
binary.
robot.
It's
But
all
still-
binary. It's all 1100011001.
Exactly.
It's binary.
Non-binary is still binary, and that's the point. Like.
But would anyone buy an Optimus, a Tesla Optimus, and have a robot in their house?
For $30,000, no, I would
20
not.
to 30.
If I had money, to be honest, let's face it, 20 grand for something that could potentially babysit your kids. I mean, that's the thing about the car. The guy said, well, you could actually have your car making you money while you're at work. Because
Yeah.
your car could be doing like a
Well,
taxi.
did you not see the comparison that people put to something that happened 20 years ago?
Was that
Which
the-
genocide?
Elon Musk has completely mirrored something we've already seen 20 years ago
I am
to the
Robot?
year as well.
Yeah,
I
I
Am
am
Robot.
robot. Yeah, yeah.
And he called it We Robot, or whatever it was called. He's got the humanoid, looks exactly the same. He's got the bus, looks
Exact same.
exactly the same
Is that
as an
20 years
iRobot.
old?
The car looks exactly the same. Like,
Is that a
he's
20-year-old
basically spent
film?
the last 20 years recreating iRobot.
Do you know he's aware that that's an Alex Powers movie? Get me
Huh?
the Crow. I Am Robot is the same director of The Crow.
Oh, really?
Is it?
Yeah, that's
I
why
didn't
it's
know
good.
that.
Yeah.
But
I-
yeah, I think the
I
We
can't remember-
Robot
Anyone
thing was
actually-
brilliant.
Can anyone actually remember I Am Robot? I remember
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, vividly. He has that one defective one that can think for itself,
Yeah.
and it's like drawing like the picture all the time, isn't it? When all the robots turn,
I
They're
can't
not.
remember
And
that
then,
well.
then they go to the robot scrapyard and liberate all the robots.
they're on like the Golden Gate Bridge or something, aren't they? And, yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty terrifying.
all the ones that are kind of outdated.
But we know that those robots, you're all aware those robots weren't acting independently. They were being controlled.
I said that. See when the guy was talking to it and it was having a conversation. I was like, that sounds like
Did
a
you not
guy.
see the videos of his staff with the
thing,
things doing this and
yeah.
everything?
Well, when I watched that, I said that sounds like somebody's sitting with a headset in a van.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
real.
They showed videos of the people doing this and stuff with like these little grips on and stuff, which makes sense. I mean, it's still impressive.
I think everything with Elon Musk is just this is the potential here happening. Like we're almost there, we're not quite there, and I think
And that's
everything that he
fine. It's
sells,
pushing boundaries.
but
Get it.
everything he sells is kind of like that. I mean, me, you're the three of us right now could go, oh, we could make this thing and do this, that, but it's if it doesn't, you don't actually make it.
Did you not see the most impressive thing he's ever done that happened, I think, yesterday?
PayPal.
No. Way more impressive than his robots and his little cars that go around. Oh, by the way, the conductive charging is genius. So no more plugging in your car.
All right.
You basically drive it onto a pad and it will charge.
I'm not a fan of electric cars at all. Like,
Well, did you not see what happened? I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. With like something that's never happened in human history.
You should tell us.
I've come prepared for this. You said to talk about Elon Musk. You know how a couple of years ago he shot the Falcon 9 rocket in and he landed it down.
Oh yeah, landed it on its point.
Yeah, you know he's got the big boy rockets as well that have all the people and everything that shoot up, and then they drop off. Obviously, like NASA, they let go of the boosters.
Yeah.
And they normally go into the sea or explode or whatever. He landed the booster.
So
like it's insane. It comes down this booster from like the atmosphere into these like jaws that kind of close onto it. And it just sits itself perfectly in these like. Everyone was losing their mind. People going mental.
Well, that's Go on.
I love that Elon Musk is supporting Trump and all that. You and I, James, are kind of Trump men, but still, I don't trust Elon Musk. There's just something. I feel like he's a Trojan horse.
I think he's a genius.
No, I'm not being funny.
I think Elon Musk is the ultimate Bond villain.
I think he's got potential to be. I think he's that guy. He's the chicken guy from Breaking Bad, Chicken Man.
Isn't he now the biggest car manufacturer in the world, or something stupid like that?
No, surely not.
If he isn't, he will be in the near future. And you know, he could just go to his office, press a button, and none of them Teslas work anymore.
Do you realise that there's so many insurance companies? My wife works in insurance, and they just don't insure Teslas because for parts and things like that, they're a nightmare. And like the reliability of them, like seriously, there's so much. It's so flawed, but yet. If it was any other car, they would be pulling them back and going, "Oh, see that addition? We need to, there's manufacturing problems with it." But with the Teslas, they just let them. They're blowing up in airports.
My next car is a Tesla. My next car is a Tesla.
I mean, I like them. I look at them and go, "That's quite a nice car." But
going forward, there'll only be Teslas. In the future, there will only be one car. That's what I genuinely think. It'll get to a point.
There's a new car coming out now that looks even fitter inside.
Do you know what he'll do?
I like the zero everything with one.
And do you know what will happen? He'll just buy it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He'll buy the company, turn it into Tesla.
I almost feel like he just buys things with no, like. I don't even think he's got the money he says he's got, but he's just got the. Oh yeah, I'll buy that.
Everything's in assets. Everything's
but what is his actual assets? I mean, he's literally everything's liquid. So he's one of those guys that always gets $60 trillion. He could literally be broke tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got money coming in from everywhere, isn't he?
Stock prices just plummet and everything.
Every penny he gets in is going into something else.
But there's real wealthy people out there that if it all crashes tomorrow, they're still wealthy.
Think of everything he's doing though.
Yeah.
Tesla, number one. SpaceX, which is insane. Starlink, which my friends actually use, the internet, anywhere on the planet, broadband. The Boring Company, drilling tunnels under LA and like putting sleds and cars across. What else has he got? He's got the robots.
Or the Neuralink.
Neuralink.
On the brain, yeah.
Now, although that has nightmare scenarios now, I do think it's amazing.
Did you see what he said about putting the parts of the robots onto a prosthetic and controlling by Neuralink?
But then I looked at that robot and I thought that thing's probably worth about, as a prototype, it's probably like $10 million, right? And yet it waves like that. It waves like a guy with a prosthetic limb. Do you know what I mean?
But if you
Because
look
it
at
waves to something
Boston,
that's like, you think it'd be like, hey, not.
the leading people in the world for robots have always been Boston Dynamics. You ever followed them before? Boston
It sounds
Dynamics do
familiar,
that. You
but
remember the robot dogs that you see
yeah.
now going around?
Yeah.
They did all the early prototypes, and now they've got robots that can do parkour and like jump up, do like ninja warrior stuff, and it's real.
Did
They're
they
like,
say? Did they say parkour though when they're doing it? Like, parkour,
unfortunately not, no.
parkour, parkour.
But if you just spend like 10 minutes watching Boston Dynamics videos, it's like it doesn't even look
Scary.
real. But they've been doing it since day dot. Like they were like the pioneers of robot stuff. Whereas Musk's been doing it for the last couple of years.
Does it look like the Tony Stark? No, the Iron Man when they're doing when other countries are trying to make Iron Man.
Better. It looks amazing. Just Google video of Boston Dynamics robot now and just watch it or something. It's insane. They're doing like flips. They're doing like stuntman stuff and things, and it looks fake, but it is real.
So the robots that he just unveiled the other day. Are they completely? Because they kind of do look like men in suits, don't they? Like, but are they completely?
100%.
They're being controlled by somebody.
They're
else.
remote control at the moment, I think,
Right.
with the idea to put them.
I don't know, are they?
Yeah,
I think they are remote control.
I've not looked into detail, but the conversations that were so fluid. But they've got a trick. I've noticed they would just let them loose in the crowd of people, and people would just.
You see the one serving the drinks at the bar.
But there's like the people are just allowed to speak to them. So one person just goes to you like, what is it? What's your dream? And it goes every time they ask a question, it repeats the question back. So it goes, what's your dream?
Kill you.
And he goes, oh, interesting. What is my dream? My dream is
Yeah, but there's
to
simply
be more human like you. And that was the most creepiest thing I've ever heard. He goes, to be more human like you. I was like, what?
But what you've just said.
He goes, can you fucking dance? He went, do. Yeah,
but Kev, what you just said just proves a point they're all controlled by humans. Because at not one point ever, as far as I'm ever remember, has Elon Musk ever mentioned anything about his own AI.
Well, did you hear the guy say that?
Surely he would have said, "Oh, the car's got its own version of Siri or something," which I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Did you see that? I can't remember who the guy was, but he says there is no such thing as artificial intelligence because if it's intelligent, then it's not artificial. And he goes on to this thing like, basically, it's just a big Google. So it's not intelligent. It's just got access to information, and it can access.
It's just how quick can you access the information?
Well, that's the definition of artificial intelligence.
But it doesn't make it intelligent, though.
But no, it does, because I watched a program recently. So if on Netflix, if you guys have the time to watch it on Netflix, it's super interesting, and it is Bill Gates. It's just
he's a cock. I'm not watching it. It's creepy.
It's like 4 or 5 episodes of Bill Gates. So the first episode's on AI, and he's talking about...
That's a Bond villain.
He's talking about what AI... Are you kidding me? This guy's doing more for humanity than any other billionaire.
Are you joking? He's going around vaccinating random African villages with some made-up vaccinations.
The guy brought back
he's helping people. Yes,
no,
correctly. So, right, put it into context. Elon Musk has gone a bit... Listen to me for a second, right?
Okay.
Elon Musk has gone a bit sideways because he fancies Trump now. That's a bit concerning.
He's dark MAGA, that's why.
But he is doing technology advances, and he's doing some great stuff. You look at who's the other one? Bezos. Fucking no.
Well, he's just happy with Amazon. He's cool. He's chill with Amazon.
No. He's spending money flying himself into space just for a laugh, blowing money.
He's quite content on what he's got. Musk is always doing
he's
something
not content on what he's got. He's blowing money when he could end world hunger tomorrow.
No, that's what I mean. He's content on what he's got. He's not looking to do anything else. He's just happy chilling out, flying to space.
He's a massive C word because he's doing fucking nothing for anyone.
Have you ever seen Sam Kinnis, the comedian?
Sam Kinison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. Well, saying that, I love him. He only ever did like 3 specials.
No. So, but he makes a good point about world hunger, and he says, "Listen,
stop sending them food.
Send them U-Hauls. U-Hauls is the American company for like moving your furniture." He says, "Send them U-Hauls." He says, "Do you know why you can't? You're starving because you're trying to grow food on fucking sand." He says, "Move away from the sand and you go where the food is."
Yeah, but
He
then
says,
they can't. But then they can't go into any of our countries because we won't allow it because of immigration and Trump saying don't have an
Not,
immigrant.
Listen,
Kev, not really the country to say we don't let people in at the moment, are we?
I know.
Also, I hadn't finished my point. The point was Elon Musk, one of the biggest billionaires in the world,
The
and
biggest.
he's doing stuff for technology. So he's doing something positive, even though he could do something better for humanity. But that's his vibe. I get it. That's his thing. And you look,
Making
no, shut
everybody
up.
obsolete in jobs doesn't
But
help people, though, does it?
Just
but
to
you,
quickly mention,
no, no,
Kev,
no, no,
who
no.
was the one
I
that
haven't
gave
finished
the
my fucking point.
Ukraine? Who
Don't
gave
let him
the
I
finish.
have
Ukraine
not
internet
finished
in
my
the war?
point. Yeah, I know he's doing good things. I'm pro Elon Musk. I am pro Elon Musk. I want a Tesla. Elon, if you're listening, love you. Give us a Tesla. Y model preferred.
I want a
Um,
dark MAGA hat.
Also, I'm up for him. Even though, yeah. Anyway, I think Bezos is a twat because he's doing zero, and I think Bill
Well, he's
Gates
got
is
to be in the gym. He's
and
getting
I think
hench.
Bill Gates is the best because he is actually trying to do things for irrigation, for to prevent
He wants to kill you,
malaria.
Kevin. He wants to
Malaria is
kill you.
one of the biggest killers in the
Do you
world.
remember with the vaccine? And he says, "Oh, the vaccine's going to save everybody, right?" And then he sunk
Well,
his
it
own
did.
shares, and then he came out and says, "Oh, it doesn't actually work."
I don't know enough about that. All I know is the stuff he is literally doing, not the conspiracy theory shit that
It's not
YouTube.
conspiracy theories. See, when
Both of you subscribe to conspiracy theories
he
more
was
than
given
facts.
small, he was given no smallpox. What's the other?
If CNN says it, it's true. Which is bullshit.
Polio, and vaccinations, and
No, see, we're against CNN.
this is
What's the other one?
this is this has been proven. There's documentaries made on this where he
What?
did the polio vaccine in a village in Africa, and basically he raised polio. He put it back up because there was that many people contracting polio again. So
Well, at least he's doing something. It's a science experiment,
he's,
isn't it?
he's given them. I mean, you can't give science experiment on human
He has reduced.
children.
He has reduced malaria and saved millions of lives. That's a fact.
Mosquito nets can do that. Do you know what I mean? You don't
No, they
need
can't.
Maybe Bill
vaccinations.
Gates
can't.
should stick to solving viruses on his own stupid computers because I get
Yeah.
so bloody many of them.
Exactly.
Get an
But
apple.
anyway,
I can't at work.
What? When are you going to get a fucking laptop, James? You've been promising it for over a year, penis.
Soon.
Soon. It was soon a year ago.
anyway,
Yeah, back to Musk. Yeah, I love his dark MAGA thing. That was quite cool. I like that.
I am robot. It's all going to end in tears. We're all going to be out of work.
Terminator was just a prediction for the future.
Yeah.
Imagine if Terminator actually happened.
It
I don't know if it'd be like, this is cool as I'm burning, as my flesh is burning, or
Well, did you think it was cool during the pandemic when you were getting locked in your house? I mean,
what's that got to do with Terminator?
No, because
Kev, imagine if you were
because
locked
we
in
were
your
under
house in the
control.
pandemic with no internet.
What? Say again?
Imagine if you were locked in your house in the pandemic with no internet
Yeah.
at all.
That's
I
the
think there would
Terminator.
be some serial killers born that then.
No, but think when that was all happening, right? Regardless of where you stand on it, look, the fact is we were all like, "What the fuck's actually going on? This is crazy." We're actually getting told you can only go outside for like half an hour, 45 minutes max, then get back in the house. Fresh air bad, sunshine bad. Like,
No,
and we all
fresh air
went along
good,
with
but
it.
not around other people.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but they see the people that were getting that information firsthand. They were all partying. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Do you know how, like, we've mentioned it before, that occasionally I like to be aggressive and I enjoy that part. Like, you're similar. You like a bit of a fight if it's warranted. During the lockdown, that was like what, a year and a half of pretty much majority lockdown where you didn't
Kev can
see
get in a
another,
fight for a year and a half.
didn't see another human. It's impossible to get in a fight because you don't see other humans.
We
I
beat
almost,
misses.
I almost got in a fight because
Easy win.
I was walking the dog and some cunt. Oh, that was an aggressive one. I should beep that one. But yeah, I was walking the dog and I was walking around the corner and some jogger ran past me.
Bloody joggers.
Like brushed my shoulder. In a real world, not a big deal. Joggers just ran past. It's a
But
fucking
pandemic
pandemic.
world.
It's lockdown. This sweaty guy runs past me and sneezes as he's at me. I was like, I can't chase you because my dog's too fucking slow. I was gonna murder him.
In reality, Kev gave him COVID and he died.
exactly, exactly. Like,
I had a bit of
listen,
COVID on my shoulder and he touched it.
listen, you're talking to the wrong person. I'm anti-vaxxer. I'm all these things. Do you know what I mean?
I'm pure blood.
Me too. There's no poison in my blood. I wore masks and I thought they were absolutely, the idea was ridiculous, but I did it. I wasn't. I'd walk into a shop. I'd wear a mask just for other people's sake. I didn't think it was going to do anything. I didn't think it was saving anybody. I done it because there was people that had to actually work in those stores.
But
and they had
Michael,
to
I
wear them.
respect you for doing that. You don't.
I did it as well.
You don't. Well, it's all right. I respect you both for not believing in it but still doing it. I whether you agree or disagree.
But do you think that makes sense?
There's a certain amount of yeah, but you don't swear at someone in the street because you're courteous.
But you were
could.
you wanted to kill somebody because they jogged past you. Did you believe that wearing a bit of rag over your face, even then, did you believe that you were helping that situation?
I felt like Sub-Zero.
I think.
Oh, come on,
Finish him.
No, but I'm asking a serious question.
I do think the masks were good if you were ill to prevent you spraying it. I don't think it mean. I think if I wandered around a group of people just standing, chilling, talking, wearing a mask, was doing nothing. But
right, but let's face it. See if you're that ill, who was leaving the house?
Shouldn't be going anyway.
Everyone's inconsiderate. Everyone's rude. Everyone's leaving.
You're not allowed to leave the house, so you
know what my favourite was? Was when you see someone
single file going round supermarkets. There was arrows saying you can't backtrack. And
yeah, it's
basically
like
IKEA.
Yeah,
it was nonsense. It's funny they locked all us up, but Amazon could deliver canoes. Do you know what I mean?
Can I throw something at it? I read a story the other day. Some guy in whatever country got arrested for moving the arrows in IKEA.
Did you Google people's purchases during the pandemic? And like somebody bought
toilet roll.
No, somebody bought like a garden gazebo bar thing, and the guy lived in an apartment, so he didn't even have a garden.
What did he buy it
for? Say one thing about
his living room, camping out.
Basically, but it was like all these stupid purchases people made during the pandemic.
My favourite thing about the face masks is when you be walking down the road, and so I had to go to work every day in the pandemic, and you'd see someone drive past in their car with a mask on their own. You're like, what are you apart from a bee flying in the window in your mouth? Like, what are you possibly protecting yourself from at that point?
I remember somebody saying to me like, and again we were at the park. I think the parks had just opened up, and somebody was like, "Yeah, but you should wear a mask." I says, "I've actually got a mask in my pocket." I says, "But I've had this same mask for over a year and a half. I've never washed it. So trust me, see for me to put this on and breathe through it, I'd probably give you." Like the smallpox, do you know what I mean? Because this.
Did you ever be in a situation where you got to a shop and forgot your mask, and you're like, "Oh, it's so annoying." The amount of times I would walk around down the shop to get some milk or something, and be like,
But
some places
wouldn't
let you in unless you had something.
Ironically, I felt tempted to go to the register.
The downside of the whole mask thing is they've not retracted it, because remember back in the day you weren't allowed in a shopping centre with your hood up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nowadays kids are wearing balaclavas.
And you're not allowed in a.
They never took it back. They were like, you can always just wear a balaclava now.
Yeah, you're not allowed a motorcycle helmet.
James, have not admitted to a lot of things, but there's actually for vaccine injury, you can actually go claim if you've got a vaccine injury, but it's not highlighted. But it's there. It's there in the yellow thing for the hospital government thing, where you go if you've got a vaccine injury from the vaccination, you can claim money back. So that's
I never got a jab.
I never got it, and I
got both my jabs and never. Well,
of course you did. We'll miss you when you die young.
That's why he hates Trump.
I can't
being controlled.
Michael, Kevin, I'm too old to die young, so don't worry about it.
Kevin, do you know why I didn't get it? And I was tempted because I understand people that got it, that they never got it because they believed it. Most people got it because they wanted things to go back to normal. They wanted to go on holiday. They were told if they got it, they were helping their granny or whatever. That's why most people got it, right?
Some people thought inheritance.
Yeah, but most people, the majority of people got it because they just wanted things to go back. They never actually thought they needed it. But they thought, I want things to go back to normal, I'll go and get it. And I completely understand that. I didn't get it based on... I didn't think... I was questioning it at the time, but the one thing I did question mostly was, if I get it, then I'm basically going to have to allow my children to get it, and that was never happening. So I take the stance where I'm definitely not getting my kids it. So why am I getting it? And I'm glad I
Yeah.
didn't get it because again, I know lots of people. Even your own cousin Michelle, she had basically a mini stroke by getting the vaccine. She was ill that night. She got her vaccine, and then they looked into it. They went sent her for scans and all that, and basically she had a really bad
Can you
adverse
not
reaction
remember
to it.
the really famous video that went around of the nurse that got it done and went up on the stage to say she got it done, collapsed, and then no one heard of her ever again. Like they never saw her again, and they were like, "Oh, just
But
whatever."
again, I
And what I would
do.
ask you, Kevin, right?
I
Kevin,
get your concern, but they're like isolated instances, and obviously when you get a jab, it tends to make you ill for a couple of days.
yeah,
And
that's
if you're
natural.
already not well, it can exasperate
Well,
things. So
answer me this question,
if you
Kevin.
get a
Right?
flu jab, you feel shit for a day because it's giving you a
I
bit
wouldn't
of
get
I
a
wouldn't
flu.
even have one of them.
I
but
wouldn't get
it's
a flu
giving
jab.
you a percentage of
No, same.
flu. Yeah, but it's giving you a percentage of flu, so your antibodies can react to it.
But
So
Kevin,
when
do
you
you not
get more, you
understand
can react better.
your own immune system is the most elaborate thing that is in existence. Your immune system
Not
is so
everyone's
unique.
the same, though. That's the
No, I know
problem.
that.
It's not
But
everyone's immune system's as good as the next person.
answer me this then, right? Because you're going, well, if people get vaccinations, that's fine. What do you say to the doctors and plenty of people that refuse to get it? What do you say to those people? Have they been irrational?
Well, the
When
doctors and nurses that didn't get it got
yeah,
fired.
Did
no,
they?
no, they didn't get
Yes.
fired. No, they were. It looked as if they
A
were
lot of
getting
them were
fired.
dismissed or put.
So those are rational and
There's
they're
hundreds of
rational
stories.
thinking people. They're very
Are they?
informed
Just
people.
because they're a medical professional doesn't mean they're, when you're talking about a nurse doesn't know the biochemistry
Well, look at the
of a
doctor.
vaccine and everything to that degree.
But she sees what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
And a lot of things, okay, open up a can of worms here. A lot of things,
Down the rabbit hole.
if this
down
gets
the
too
rabbit
far,
hole.
all right, James is loving this, and Michael, you love this too. But if I mention the word religion, I've got a feeling that's got a big part of decision making in that sort of scenario as well.
With
And James
vaccines.
isn't religious, I know you are, but I think that's got a factor in it as well. A lot
Never
of
thought of that
people
before, actually, to be fair.
not do things because of their religion. Doesn't mean
Didn't
it's
actually
right
think
or
Oh
about
wrong.
no, I wouldn't consider it.
That's-
Anything I do for myself or my kids,
I do it for
health,
you.
health is paramount. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
first thing I ask myself is, do I need it? They were remember they used to in the news. They used to have the clock, all these dead bodies that were happening. People were dying
So morbid. One every day, you'd wake
every
up and be like,
second,
"How many
yeah.
people have died today?"
But
Yeah,
what
but
I
how many
see,
were part of COVID? How many were
but
just
what
heart
I,
attacks and
but what I see, of
just
course,
got
but
labelled
what,
as?
what
Point, Kev. Good point.
But what I actually see, well, nobody died of the flu for 3 years, so. But what I actually seen was, I mean, I'm surrounded by mosques, churches, chapels, all around me, right?
All I see is pictures on the wall, you lie.
I never seen any.
For reference, Michael lives in the city centre of Glasgow. He
I
is
never seen any.
It's in mainstream Budapest.
multicultural
I
area.
never seen any hearses. Do you know what I mean? I never seen. And again, I took my son to the hospital mid-pandemic because he'd banged his head, and I took him, and the hospitals were deserted. People were terrified to go near them.
That's an elaborate reason to go and check out a hospital. You don't have to hit him on the head.
No. But what I'm saying is, I couldn't see it with my own eyes. I didn't know anybody that was dying of COVID.
Same,
So
same,
and I
to be
know
fair.
and my thing's really broad. Somebody says, "Oh, my gran died of COVID. She was 76." Well, maybe she just died because she was 76. You know what I mean? Like people die every day.
And got the cold, yeah.
So that's why I was kind of the first thing I established. Do I need this? I don't think I need it.
It's
And the
Can I
difficult.
just throw something out there quickly? I went to hospital, to A&E, mid-pandemic, right?
Me too.
There was no one there. And in the hospital, there was no one. It was
No,
like a ghost town.
People
No
were
offense,
terrified to go
you're
there.
in Hampshire. You're not in the city centre of
Doesn't
London.
matter. It's
You're
still
not
people.
in London. You're not in LA. You're not in New York. Where
It was in
But-
Salisbury.
but-
It was in Salisbury.
but
like,
see-
and there was no one about.
See in New York, do you remember when they showed the footage in New York and CNN got its arse spanked for this? They actually showed footage of a hospital in Italy, and they were trying to say, "Oh, this was the hospital," because it was all chaos in Italy, and they tried to say that this was the hospital in New York City, and it was like, no, that's footage from another news channel.
Yeah, it was reused footage. Yeah, I remember that.
So if it was that bad, why would you need to fake the footage? You know what I mean?
I went to hospital twice actually. Once for Reef because he hurt his leg, and we went in there. And yeah, it's not New York, but it's still
Ghost
a
town.
place. Like you're not more susceptible in like if
You
you live in
are.
a big city. If you
You
meet,
are
you're
literally
with
more
people, you're with people with an airborne, terrible virus.
well, is it an airborne disease passed
Well, if
between
you're locked in, how are you going to get it? Doesn't matter where you are
If
if
you
you're
live in the
locked in.
countryside, you're not going to get it. If you live in a city,
Okay, so we're in Salisbury or Winchester, wherever it was. There's no one.
I
Didn't
got,
see any nurses or doctors. There's just
I
no
got,
one about.
did
I
either
got
of you get
COVID.
ill, whether you deem it
Yeah,
COVID or
I
flu?
got COVID about
I
a
had
year
it
and a
twice.
half, and I'd had no symptoms other than losing my sense of smell. And the reason I knew that was because we had a baby at the time. Nicholas was a baby, and his nappy was full, and we're like,
Good
we could see it,
excuse.
we could see it bulging, right? And I was like, I can't smell that. And even when we took
Great
it off,
excuse.
Yeah.
it was
He needs
horrendous.
changing. Oh no, I couldn't smell COVID. Yeah,
No,
sorry, that's your.
but Nicola or I couldn't smell it, and we're like, how strange is that? You've literally got a kid's dirty nappy, and you can't smell it. That was it.
I had it twice. The first time,
Headaches.
I had achy shoulders. I had my shoulders ached. That was it.
For the people listening, we're not laughing at James going to hospital twice. We're laughing because he did the peace sign and loads of balloons came up on his feet.
Well, I had it twice. The first time, my shoulders ached a bit.
I had
And the
headaches.
second time, me and Reef both had it. And the only reason we knew we had it, because he had to test for preschool and I had to test for my work. So we just got a week off work for free. It was brilliant.
I'll play devil's advocate then. I'm pro the jab, and I'd rather be preventative and not get it. And I hear your points, and I'm not going to.
You were lied to. It wasn't preventative.
I'm not going to diminish either of your experiences. I had the jab twice.
My experience was really good.
Yeah, the first time I got the jab, it was fine. It was a bit of a dead arm, but it was okay. The second jab, I fucking like crunched down in the chair. I was like, they're like, after 20 minutes you can leave, and 20 minutes passed, and I was like, I don't want to leave yet.
You get two. Did you ever have COVID?
I don't want to leave because I don't feel well.
Kev, did you ever have COVID?
Twice.
What, with your superpower jab, you still got COVID? What?
Yeah, but both my
Shut the
COVIDs,
front door.
both my COVIDs are sailed through. They're all right.
But
Kev,
so was
do you want
else.
to
We
throw
didn't
something
get
out
them. Do you know what I
I
mean?
got good
Fuck
COVID
you
the
guys.
second time.
That's what I'm saying. That was my thing to say.
Kevin, I understand why you got it. You're a hero for getting it, right? Genuinely.
I'm a
balls
hero.
off to you. You were a guinea pig and you done it.
So sarcastic.
And you done it for the right reasons. You done it because you thought you were doing help right.
You know, I got good COVID the second time round, which no one talks about good COVID, which I think I'm the only one that got.
Is that the opposite of bad AIDS?
No, as in, after my second COVID, whatever experience, I got better at everything. Like, we played table tennis at work, and I came back off that second spell of COVID, and my reaction times were better. So, like,
What was that,
my
Bradley Cooper
energy
film?
was better.
When they take the tablet and it's all this. It's got the
Limitless. We were joking. We were saying, would it be cool if there was an illness out there that actually made you better? Like, oh no, I've got the flu. I'm really good at maths for 2 weeks. Like, or just like.
I just solve equations on the walls.
But yeah, I know. I got good COVID.
No,
Just made me better.
Kevin, I wasn't being sarcastic there. I was actually genuinely being serious when I was saying that. Like, you did it for the right reasons and all that. But to this day, can you not just admit that you were lied to by your government, by your doctor? You were lied to.
And you love Trump.
I don't think we're lied to.
You don't think
love Trump.
But that's the denial. This is the
Trump's a
point.
bellend.
This is the thing that frustrates people like us. Like, you can't say that what you did, what you got, what they gave you, and you were told a lie because you were told that once you got it, that you wouldn't pass it on, and only people. What you need to remember is, Kev, we were.
As far as I'm aware, I didn't pass it on to anyone.
No, but James and I were sitting watching TV programs where they're having debates about should you unfriend your friend that's not been vaccinated? Should the unvaccinated be banned from everything?
I think that's silly. Everyone's got their own opinion.
That was happening.
Yeah,
that
but
was happening.
there was also there was also a hate rhetoric the other way, thinking, "Oh my god, if you get the vaccine, you're getting a fucking chip inserted into your arm." That is ludicrous. Does any of you believe I was getting when I got the vaccine? There was a fucking like.
It's a number of the beast, son.
What is it?
Number of the beast.
What is it? The Wi-Fi terminal. What is it? Like.
Oh, the G5.
G5 getting inserted into. Like, did any of you believe that?
You don't know that you didn't.
Fuck off.
I'm just saying you don't.
No.
That is, I'm going to use a word that is right. You guys are being on PC.
Kevin, put it this way: see whatever you did get injected into you, it wasn't anything that was going to fight COVID. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, can you remember when you used to get like you remember when you were little, you had like an MMR, measles, mumps and
Yeah.
rubella, or like a polio thing on a bit of sugar lump, and they were like, "That's it, you're done, you're set for life." Whereas the COVID jab, you're like, "Yeah, you're gonna need like 17 of these, and just have to keep going back every." I had a text the other week about a booster. I was like,
Oh,
"What is this Pokemon? I don't know booster pack."
saying that, here's one experience that will actually benefit your cause, which I still don't believe in, but this might contradict everything, is the
But
fact
you a little
that
bit believe it.
when I was in London, which is obviously a built up city, and you're going to get more ill in a built up city because you're around more people, right? My job was almost 9 years in total. Apart from going to hospital for kidney stones, that's my own fault, technically.
Lazy.
I don't think I had a sick day once in the whole of London. That's including tubes regularly, around
Then you
thousands of
got
millions of
your
people all the
jab.
time. I then moved to Chester in 2019, which is it's a city, but it's not really. It's basically one of the biggest villages you've ever seen,
Hollyoaks.
and it is beautiful. And I'm in the countryside technically, and I have been ill maybe 4 times
That's your booster,
every
Kev.
year since COVID and since COVID
That's your
jab.
booster.
So 21, 22, 23, and this year, every time I've gone out, like my boss and Sadie have joked about it. I went to Liverpool. Remember I mentioned before, I went to Liverpool last month on a Beatles weekend with my mate. Monday felt rubbish. Tuesday felt rubbish. Wednesday, full illness. I had to have a couple of days off. I was fucking horrendous. Just being
Welcome to the
around
dark
people.
side.
But also, is it me being old and now I don't go out very often?
No, you're not
And
old.
when I do go out, I get ill every time.
One, you're not old.
You're not old enough to be old. You're not
No.
old enough to be vulnerable, put it that way.
No, yeah.
But I think, and again, I've got friends that have been vaccinated and they said they've never been right since. I've got people that have been vaccinated and they've been completely fine. And again, I don't have any judgment on people that got vaccinated. Again, my circumstances for not getting vaccinated were just purely based on my children. But had I been single or just me and Nicola, we probably would have went with the flow, maybe. But I'm glad I didn't, because I've seen a lot of things now. Again, just things like, imagine you were getting that information firsthand, right? You were getting all the scary stories. I'm talking about the government. They were getting that firsthand, and did they care? No. So that shows you whatever information they were getting firsthand, it was a scam. They were all bought in it. They were all making profit off it. Look at her with the bras. What's her name? She conned 60 million out of PPE gear.
Oh,
Oh yeah, there
I
were some
don't think-
shifty deals
Yeah.
going on, weren't there?
Oh, so many. And they were all given look at the Rishi Sunak. His family owned
yeah.
His
shares
wife
in
made
Moderna. Do you know what I mean?
Billions and billions.
disgusting.
I mean, that's just, I'm sorry, see, as soon as there's money involved, see the guy that invented see when Mercedes invented the airbag, they invented the airbag, they could have kept that, and see the owner of Mercedes, he says, no, you need to give this to everybody,
Yeah.
because it's all about safety. The man that invented what was the other vaccination? And he gave the patent free, because this is to help humanity. There's no, and yet 5 drug companies all come up with a different vaccine all within the same week.
Yeah, that's what made me sus. They all worked it out at the same time.
No,
Yeah.
that's a bullshit excuse.
No.
Like,
That's a bit weird, though, isn't it?
No,
That's like,
it's
okay, yeah.
Wait a minute, I could get this wrong. It's the same disease as streptococcus, and it's the same DNA of it. And
But
there's
why would it take them the same
not
time?
laughing because I said cock,
Yeah.
but no. There's the COVID is part of a disease that we've been aware of for about a couple of decades. Not this exact strain, but it's the same DNA as the majority of
But
strains.
why'd they all work
It's
out
just
at the
the
same
ex-
time? What
Well,
chance?
no, they've. If you read a fucking newspaper, not fucking TikTok, they've been working on this scenario for about
TikTok
10,
on a rat.
Yeah, Kevin, they
About
created
20
the disease.
years.
That's how.
and it's a little.
It was created in Wuhan. Do you know what I mean? Remember they said it was bat soup?
It's
Remember
not
that?
bats. It was the
I
not
know,
armadillos. It's the other one.
It was the big lab that created coronaviruses.
No, it was
The funniest thing is,
Oh,
the lab actually
the
says
COVID, the COVID
not
lab.
the big lab says like COVID now on the front of it and stuff.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. Come on. They were trying
That's
to believe
almost
a
like
bat.
saying, "Oh, there's loads of chocolate running through the street."
Did you see
I
the?
wonder what that is. Do you reckon
Yeah.
it's like because someone ate a bad thing? It's like, oh, maybe the chocolate factory's having a leak.
Maybe it was Wonka around the corner.
Did you see
Timothy
the meme?
Chalamet's in town.
Did you see the meme of the at the time it was of a bat, and it had this huge cock. This bat, did you ever see that? And it's
No.
the meme was this is clearly the bat that fucked us. this bat's sitting, his cock's about that size.
Don't tell that. James is about to Google bat massive cock and get weird results.
The whole thing was like, I was saying to someone at work the other day.
One
like,
second, I need to go for a pee. So you two talk about Trump appreciation for like 2 minutes.
Can I say one thing?
I will listen back and edit it all out if you're a complete bellend.
Wait, this is my favourite season of the world right now.
I thought it was
As
America.
a TV show, this is the best season ever, isn't it?
Episode. James, we need to convert Kevin because he's just on the dark path.
He loves Trump, he just doesn't want to admit it.
Go to the toilet. He's such
Trump.
I know, like, I don't know. I mean,
if Kamala wins, have you seen some of the stuff she's said? Her word jumbles. When she gets asked about the economy, she's like, I grew up a working class person. And my mum, she bought a house when I was a teenager, and we grew up around people that like their lawns.
Have you seen
we asked about the economy. What are you talking about?
Have you seen that she's hijacked the nanny as her grandmother?
No.
So she's always showed this photo, or recently, of this black woman that's her grandmother, and it's not. She was basically the house help. Her grandmother's actually white.
She was like, my grandmother used to go village to village because she used to be Indian.
Her mother's Indian. Oh, just it's terrible, man. Like, see, and I've got friends that are all Democrats in America, and it's mind-boggling. Like, it's kind of like Kevin with the vaccine; they just can't see past.
Did you see the video the other day where a teleprompter went out?
And she just
she was talking about it's 29 days, and then blah blah, and then she went.
James, these people are in charge.
She was 29 days.
How scary is it? These people, and even in our country, these people that are politicians.
Well, apparently, this was on news earlier. Kamala's actually lost like more original backers than anyone in history, or something crazy like that.
But do you know all she is another term for Barack Obama. Joe Biden was another 4 years for Barack Obama.
Biden was a puppet, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it's Barack Obama that's behind it all.
Do you know what I like though? When her supporters keep forgetting that she's been in power for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
When Tim Waltz was on stage the other day saying we can't have 4 more years of this. It's like it's 4 more years of you.
Donald Trump approves this message.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was so funny. Then have these celebrities doing it. But the celebrities they do it are like pop stars and that, whereas Trump celebrities like Dana White, extremely successful.
Elon Musk.
He's got even Kennedy. Robert Kennedy is now on his thing. And they were reprinting the ballots to take off Kennedy.
That's right.
And everyone was like panicking because they were like, oh no.
I mean, I genuinely don't understand what people it is they don't like about him.
I'm back, and I'm just going to say, for the normal people listening out there, I'm going to use your excuse against yourself. Fake news.
No, listen.
We were just talking real stuff.
Why don't we just talk movies, okay? Because we're down the rabbit hole.
Honestly, I thought when we first started this podcast, I knew James was as much of a bellend as yourself. I'm joking, I'm teasing. You guys have your own opinions that are
20-something days, Kev, and you'll be converted. He's back.
But what?
Guess who's back?
But what I enjoy,
I
enjoy chatting about the stuff you're not allowed to chat about. You're not meant to talk politics. You're not meant to talk religion. And I think
you brought religion and politics.
Yeah, but they're the most interesting subjects to debate because no one can win. It's just an opinion.
We were just saying one thing that is a fact, and it is funny that
not a fact.
We were just saying that
whatever
Kamala's
you say,
team,
not a fact.
Kamala Harris's team keep forgetting they're in control because Tim Waltz, the vice president, was on stage the other day saying we can't have 4 more years of this. It's like she's been in control for 4 years. It's like,
well, she hasn't been in control of fuck all for.
But her team has, hasn't
party,
it?
Yes.
Like, that's their whole thing. They're like, oh, the last 4 years have been terrible. It's like, well,
yeah, they're going to fix things. They've been saying for 4 years they're going to fix things, and yet
you keep saying, "Oh, we're going to do this." Like, why haven't you done it?
And whether you like Trump or not, the economy was never better. Jobs were never higher. All these kind of things. Plus, he was shafted with the pandemic right at the end of his term.
Also, no new wars under Trump.
No new wars. Do you know what I mean? So
he just incited loads within his own country.
No,
For
he
your
didn't.
sake, Kev, I'll leave it at this, and then we'll change subject.
Neo-Nazism to pick up more than any other
Kev,
time
for
in
your
history.
sake, we'll
But
leave
see,
this conversation at this. There's a clip
For my sake,
where it says
Ross.
about,
For your
what
own
would
sake.
you do if Iran invade? You know, and Kamala's like, don't. And the guy's like, what? So what Biden said? She's like, yeah, one word, don't. And it cuts to Trump. He's like, bomb the shit out of her.
Bomb the shit out of it.
Like, and then there's a cut scene where it says Kamala Harris. She's like, oh, no world leaders respect Donald Trump. And then there's infinite videos of him like shaking hands with world leaders, and he touches like the shake of like Dubai. We
He's not allowed
He
to.
like bangs him on the shoulder.
Pulls him.
He's like pulling people in for the handshake.
The one
He
good
shakes hands
thing,
with Putin, pulls him in. He's like,
the
oh.
one good thing about Trump is that he has terrified the world that if he's in control, shit's going to go awry.
Well, did you hear that story about the?
Which might prevent some wars in some places, which is a good thing.
It did.
But also, Trump might also just go and press a button himself.
Why would you say that?
Did you hear about the story that like one of the
Why would you say that? Why is he insane?
One of his
He was against the Iraq War.
Yeah,
30
one of
years
the
ago.
top.
It's always good to say good things in hindsight. That's easy.
But you can only do something in people's actions. So what did he do in his actions that actually caused any kind of war?
I didn't say he caused any war. I'm saying he could.
No,
he's already gone.
See, America, and this is the reason when people ask me why do you care what happens in America? Because anything that happens in America echoes the entire world. And see, when you've got somebody that leads with an iron hand, Putin didn't go into Ukraine, he didn't go into anywhere else when Trump was in charge because he was unpredictable.
That's because Trump's friends with two of the biggest dictators in the world. But
he's not friends with them. You know what you need to remember? He went to the North Korean, Korean
King Jong-un.
He went to him
across the DMZ for the first time.
Exactly. All the other presidents were looking through binoculars. They didn't have the balls to go and see it.
Kamala Harris met Putin 2 days later. He invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly.
See, the thing that pisses me off at the moment, and this is something I don't know enough about, so this is just a conversation, not facts. I'm not sure if we're in fact territory here yet, but no, I'm not saying that as a weakness. I'm just saying, like, the two biggest wars going on in recent, this has got nothing to do with Trump because he wasn't even in power, but what has Britain and what has America done to help? And they've incited further because the Israel war...
Nothing, because they don't want to get involved.
The Israel war in Gaza
World War.
And the Russian war in Ukraine, neither of these things need to happen. And these could be stopped if...
We don't want to start because if we start a fight with them, we're fucked.
Kevin, see the minute you realise that all wars are just a money laundering scheme... Then,
it is.
Then
you're not seeing Zelensky's wife bought a $4 million car.
I'm sure I read today... This is not fact until I double check, but I'm pretty sure I read today, whether that's true either or not, because who can trust whatever you're being read to? But I believe that Britain and America are both sending more supplies to Israel.
Yeah,
and it's
that's true.
Well, look at Keir Starmer said, no matter what the cost, we will support Ukraine. In the meantime, when he's saying that, he's taking money out of pensioners' hands.
Yeah,
and they're going to not be able to put their heat on this.
I mean, everyone sticks on that place, but let's wait till the budget. The budget's in 2 weeks. Let's actually
He's already said the budget's going to be terrible. Your national insurance is going up.
Let's wait.
You don't understand. See the Ukraine thing. Putin is not in the wrong in that situation.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not, and I'll explain to you why. Because see, after the Second World War, Russia and the Western world had an agreement that they would not put military bases on his borders. NATO, when Ukraine joins NATO, they will then put military bases. We would never let Russia build a base on our borders. Do you know what I mean? A military base. We wouldn't let Russia have submarines in our waters. So he's quite right. That they're breaking the agreement, and this is what people forget.
Yeah, but there's a difference between infiltrating that base and taking it out.
Because
the amount of people Russia's got compared to Ukraine could just walk in and overtake it, done.
So why
are they killing loads of innocent people?
But they haven't.
So you need to ask yourself why. Because he's looking for an alternative. He could just listen. He could turn he could turn Ukraine into a scrapyard and then overnight if he wanted to.
Also, you forget that
Yeah.
He also has the
Russia have
support
had
of
the
China.
ESC.
He also has the support of like Iran probably. So Ukraine's it's like a fly on an elephant's arse to him. You know what I
Russia
mean?
have been on war with Ukraine for like 10 years now with Donetsk.
Yeah, but
There's a
then
documentary about it on
Yeah.
Netflix.
And Crimea, when they took over Crimea again, like
watch the
Crimea was under Biden.
I'd,
No,
I'd,
sorry, under
Obama.
Obama. Yeah.
I'd say give on BBC. There's a documentary on Zelensky. Give that a watch. That's really interesting.
He's a sketchy character.
He's just an actor. Like
He's a
Well, he's
comedian,
a literal actor. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like
fantastic.
actual comedian.
he's
His
a
wife
Zelensky
is now
fan.
buying like $4 million baguettes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he's coming over here asking for money. And
Do you know?
funds.
Do you no? He's worth 460 million, right? He's got a 100 million apartment in fucking Miami. Do you know when he was at the UN in New York? He was at the UN, the UN begging for money and supplies to thing with. His wife was in Cartier and dropped $2 million. And that's fact. That's not fiction.
Jesus.
Look it up. And she's buying
These
diamonds
scam
for
artists.
gifts. No, he's a puppet. He's an instrument. They got an actor to play a part, and America is in there and they're controlling everything. Just money
Isn't it weird
laundering.
that you got Zelensky and Trump, who are both. Well, actually, Zelensky's not a businessman or anything. He is an entertainer, and Trump is now become an entertainer. That's not a negative thing. He's the apprentice. He's a celebrity. He's not
No,
a
he's not a
property.
career,
He's
not a
not a
career
property
politician.
tycoon. That was in the 80s and 90s. He is now a celebrity of a general sense. And you've got the two big powers in the globe, and they're both played by actors.
Did you ever hear the speech that Trump gave a couple of, I don't know when it was actually, and he said this speech. He said, "I met Xi Jinping, or the Chinese guy Xi Jinping, is it?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Look, if you do mess about, we'll come for you." And he's like, he probably didn't believe it, but he 5% believed it, which was enough. And he's
Yeah.
like, "I met Putin, I said what's what, and he probably didn't believe me, but he 5% believed me."
Yeah.
And that was enough for him to be like, probably shouldn't be doing that. And that's kind of what you need, isn't it?
Do you not think, Kevin? Do you not think if Trump was part of the establishment and he played ball with all the real villains of the world, do you not think there wouldn't be so much hate against him?
I genuinely think the best thing about him is that he's not part of that crowd and he's just coming in like a fucking bulldozer.
So why does
I get that.
Why is that not
But
appealing
also,
to you then?
Why is the good thing?
Why would you choose
I
a career politician?
I kind of agree that the good thing is that he is threatening other people so that they don't attack and things are a bit more peaceful. But in reality, it's still antagonizing. Why can't we have someone that comes in and goes, "Let's fucking fix shit. Let's smooth things," rather
But he
than
will fix
"Fuck with
things.
me or fuck with you." If you went up to a bully in a schoolyard and said, "Don't fuck with me or I'll fuck with you,"
Do you know what, Kev? I'll
there's
say
gonna be
one
a fight
thing.
at some point. Why
One thing in your corner, Kev,
people?
which I will say is, it's not that it's like Trump's great. It's that the opposition, Kamala, like, she doesn't do live interviews. She can't do a live interview because she can't talk. Like, she doesn't do these like when she's caught off the cuff. She just has to. She does this pre-prepared script every time and doesn't answer questions. And it's like the same as Biden. They're like just puppets, and it's like they're just fed
Well,
this
look
nonsense.
what you
Whereas
need
he
to
just says what he wants. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this."
James, something that Robert Kennedy made a really good point. He says what you need to remember is it's not 4 years Joe Biden. The Democrats out the past 20 years have been in charge for 16 years. For 16 out of 20 years, they've been in charge. And do you think the past 4 years? Do you think America has benefited in having Democrats in charge? The place has turned into chaos. And
Yeah, but no matter who's in charge, it's always going to be chaos to a degree.
And the only chaos that was during Trump's period, the only chaos was caused from the left. You had your Antifa, you had your Black Lives Matter, you had all, and it was all the left wing people.
You're looking right
places
on
apart.
that point. You're looking from blinkers because I saw, all the issues were the fucking white supremacists fucking mowing down people in their cars in crowds.
That was one incident. Do you know how many people died during the Black Lives Matters riots?
Do you remember
Dozens.
the 6th of... Anyone remember the 6th of January?
Yeah, one person died, a Trump supporter. One person. January
I'm not
6th.
talking about literal deaths. I'm talking about the insubordination, the
What was
fucking
the insurrection?
the fucking bizarreness of that.
It's not an
That would
insurrection.
never happen. That should not happen in a civilized society.
But
We said like Notting Hill Carnival. Look who made deaths to death.
Irrelevant of what side you're
Kevin,
on, that
you've
should
seen
never
that.
happen.
Kevin, see that? Thousands of people went across onto the, what's it called? The government building, whatever you want to call
The
it.
Mound.
They went. Thousands of people went there, and then they were ushered into that place, right? Into Congress. They were ushered in, right? Do you know this year, Free Palestine marches did the same exact thing. They marched in there, tens of thousands of them, and they overtook the full place with their Free Palestine. Didn't make the news. It wasn't classed as an insurrection. And what you need to remember is, see a president, a sitting
About the
president
Capitol building.
in the Capitol building, sitting president can question the legitimacy of an election. People make it out him saying, "I think I won. I think I was cheated," as if that's illegal. That's his right. People used to recount votes and all that back in the day. It's not been done in the past few decades because it's, again, left wing, right wing, part of the same bird. That's all changed.
So what do you think of like Britain at the moment? Because Britain, like
It's the
saying,
same,
like
and again,
We're a joke at the moment.
Britain
We're a joke.
echoes America.
it's
Britain
been
echoes
it's
America.
been the Tories for the last 20 years.
Yeah, they made an arse of it.
Yeah, but
Absolute arse of it.
yeah, but you're all.
Think how many PMs we've had in the last 8
But
years.
Listen,
here's
listen,
the irony. Here's the irony. Here's the irony, right? The Labour has been in for a couple of months, and already you're complaining about it. So can we just agree all politicians are scum?
Left wing, right wing, part of the
Yeah,
same
doesn't
bird.
matter.
all politicians are scum.
But what I'm saying is,
But
Tony
Trump's not a
Blair,
politician. He's a businessman.
exactly.
Which-
Tony Blair was.
A charismatic person, and
Yes.
I liked him, but he fucking started Iraq.
Yeah, of course he did. But again, he was a puppet to America. He was a puppet to Bush. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
he was a good
Who was a
prime
murderer.
minister. He was a good prime minister on a false economy. We were all going, "Oh, everything's great," and then it crashed because the reality is, it's band-aids over bullet holes all the time. And these people won't actually admit that. And it's all this, the government funding. It's our funding. We're paying the taxes. We pay tax on everything. We pay road tax to drive on the car that we've paid tax on. We're paying tax on our fuel. We pay tax. We're taxed through
You
the
pay
roof.
tax when you die.
Yeah.
So if you've made £1 million when you die, they take half of that.
The government, and this is where the government has just. Everybody's just lost faith in governments. We now see everything for what it is. And it's took us decades to get there. Well, see, 50 years ago, like our gran would have, he's a good man because he's a government man. I mean, people had faith that these people were incorruptible. And all it's proved now is everybody's so corrupt. And it's almost like, see all these politicians of late, it's almost like a snatch and grab. They just want to get as much money and disappear as quick as they can, and they get a pension of 100 and 300 grand a year or whatever. Like, we're living in Looney Tunes. But the thing is, we're paying for it.
See,
Everything that we're already paying for it, and yet it's as if they're doing us a favour. It's not the case, and that's again, anything that happens in America echoes right down, and that's when you get people like,
because we
Donald
are
Trump.
America's bitch. So if they start fighting, we're following.
And that's why when we see somebody like Donald Trump who doesn't fit the narrative, and he's actually saying the things that's all right, he goes off course, because again, he's not a trained career politician, so he says things that infuriate people like yourself, where I look at it and go, finally, fucking speak the truth.
the bit that annoys me is only like when James says, "Oh, Kamala said this ridiculous thing." Have you heard Trump speak? Every sentence he says, it's like a 5-year-old learning to speak.
There's a difference.
But he's not
I
a
think
trained
it was
from
politician.
his mind.
This
She's
was
reading
good.
from the script.
Yeah, exactly, James. I agree.
By the
She's
way,
reading
guys,
from a
I'm-
script every time.
I'm
I
gonna-
can send you multiple videos of her being like questioned, "What are you going to do about the economy?" She's like, "I was brought up in this,
It's terrible.
Do you know what?
normal family, and like my mum bought our house when blah blah
And
blah."
it's the same script. It's the same script
over and over
over and
again.
over.
She's a puppet.
I will say this officially, like, I love these conversations. I think there should be more conversations like this, because I genuinely think that when I hang out with people that are like-minded, it broods that conception. Yourselves, if you hang out with people like yourselves, it will also brood your own your own theories into more facts. And I think it shouldn't be that someone on the left doesn't speak to someone on the right because they disagree with them. I think we
Absolutely.
should always be speaking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I have with Trump
You,
is
right.
the
One
thing.
second, 1 second. You two are both on the right, but you're not far right. You're not out there
No,
hanging black people.
I'm getting there.
And,
No, not that.
after what I just said,
But why do you think that's far right? Why do you think why does far right go
far,
there? What does
far
that
right
mean?
goes into neo-Nazism stuff. But
But
all
I
you've said is
why though?
someone's
So what's
also,
far left
someone's
then?
a puppet and
So
someone's
what's
speaking
so
free
what's far?
mind.
the comment I was trying to make is that I'm
No, what would
left.
far left be
But
then?
I'm
Just
not
out of curiosity.
I'm not a fucking hippie. You know, we're both in the middle third, I would say. Just one's
But
leaning
see,
that
that's
way.
the thing, and that's I'm conservative about a lot of things. I'm liberal about some other things. Do you know what I mean? Like, but what I do know is we're all that sadly because of phones and things like that, we get an algorithm of people that agree with us. I need to look for people that have different opinions from me. I need to search for them, and I listen to
Same.
their opinions, and I can understand because I know they're getting fed the wrong narrative. So I
And
get
vice
that.
versa. I can say the
No, I
exact same
understand that,
sentences to you. Yeah.
no, but the difference is when people say things like the thing about that happened with the neo Nazis, and it was like Trump supports neo Nazis. Now I've seen the video clip. That's not true. He said there's good people on both sides there, but the people, he didn't call them neo Nazis, whatever they're called. There's another name for them. He says those people are scumbags. I do not support these people at all. But they never showed that clip. They only showed you there's good people on both sides.
As a politician, his only job is to condemn the actions of.
But he did,
One of the best, one
condemn
of the
it.
best
It's
things
just they
Trump
didn't
he
show
ever
it.
said.
He did
didn't.
condemn
One of
it. Kevin, I've seen it. He condemned them, and they
January
never
the
showed you.
6th, he didn't condemn it. He said he incited that.
He didn't
No,
incite
he
it.
didn't.
He didn't
He
incite
didn't.
an
Oh my God.
accident. Like, again,
Bring up the tweets. He didn't.
listen. You show
And
me
they're
where.
actors. They're paid actors. That
What
were
you
there.
need,
They know that now.
if you
It's
watch
paid
that,
actors.
if you
You
watch
sound
that, it says
insane.
go. If you watch the full clip, it says go and peacefully protest, peacefully.
Paid actors, and then people let them in the doors.
Yeah, Antifa.
That's common knowledge now.
And then
That's not
someone
a
got
thing
shot.
anymore.
I don't think that would have happened.
Yeah, people
But-
let them in. Paid actors.
Of course,
The guy with the big horns and that, he's an actor.
They were ushered in. Where,
You know what?
And again, Trump said to the Nancy Pelosi, who was the Speaker of the House, he told her,
Oh, yeah.
"I'll give you 10,000 army reserves." He says because this is going to get out of control. There's going to be too many people turned up, and she said no to everything. Don't want anything. And Nancy Pelosi's actually caught in a cold mic saying it was my fault. It was my fault because I didn't secure it. I should have brought people
It's
in.
not her fault. If he
Yeah,
says
that whole
if he
that
says
whole
that
thing's
bad,
like now
it's going
under
to
the
be
rug.
that bad because he is insinuated it will be that bad
No,
because
he's saying
it
it's
wouldn't be that
no,
bad.
he's,
He
no,
didn't,
no.
he didn't.
He was on Twitter saying, "Do not do anything bad."
It's not saying he's saying it's going to be out of control. Kevin, see if you put 10,000 people in anything in any one place or 50,000 people, you're going to get chaos. It just
They all know it's actors now, and people let them in. It was a stage thing.
Think of a football match. What football team do you support?
None.
Well,
They're all hooligans.
No, they're not all hooligans. 50,000 of them are actually decent people. There's a small group that
I've been to football matches. It's a grotesque experience.
I don't like football either,
It's fucking horrible.
but that's the thing. That you're always going to get an element of people that will cause disruption. Do you know what I mean? And that's in anything. That's in
It's
Palestine
like
matches.
crowd mentality, isn't it?
I mean,
I said before, like I went to see. I know we're deviating slightly, but I went to see a Wrexham football game because I really love the Welcome to Wrexham football team, as in the TV show.
Rectum. What?
Wrexham.
Rectum.
Shut up. Ryan Reynolds, Wrexham.
Yeah.
And it's 15 minutes drive from me. And my mate supports Southend-on-Sea because he's from Essex. So they were playing Wrexham. So me and him went to a Wrexham football game. And I, on a caveat, if people don't know me, I go to metal gigs every month, a couple of times a month. He'll be back. I go to violent music gigs where people punch each other in the face for fun. It's aggressive, but it's always courteous in a bizarre way. If you get fallen on the floor,
Kevin, that's what's
you
so
get picked up.
controversial. That's what's so controversial about you. You've got this rage against the machine spirit, but yet you conform to all these like Kamala Harris
Takes a blue
vaccines.
pill.
And,
But
you're
yeah,
such a
but
conundrum.
in this violent pit, it's always safe. I've come out many times full of blood, not always mine, but it's frequently mine. But you go to a football match, not a single punch is thrown, and it's actually a little bit edgy. Like when the whistle's blown and everyone's leaving, you're like, I was like, I came with my mate and his granddad, who's like 80 fucking 7, and I'm like, are we gonna have to fucking brawl here? I'm like preparing myself. Everyone comes out like, hello, good game.
Kev's like, where's the mosh pit?
Seconds ago, everyone's giving wanker signs and swearing, and it's proper violent and edgy, even though you're not allowed near each other. But in a pit, in a mosh pit, in a metal gig, all bets are off. Like, but it's safe in a weird way. You can let your frustrations out, and you walk out best mates with the guy you punched in the head.
It's basically Fight Club.
It's basically fight. Like if you go in a violent place where everyone's consenting to be violent, but for no reason,
Got P Diddy pie.
zero lube. It's more violent than P Diddy's. I'm not lubing up before I punch that guy, and it's fun. And you walk out making friends. I've got friends today because I punched them. That's it. But I wouldn't go to a football match because the fight is a fight to like
You're
they're going
so-
to try and hurt
you're-
someone.
You're
And
so
the pit's
controversial. Speaking
Wow.
of Ryan Reynolds, what did you think of Deadpool?
Loved it.
Have
Did
we
you
not
love it?
talked to you about Deadpool?
No, I still,
Deadpool Wolverine. Loved it.
I still preferred the second one.
Fuck off. No one
did-
prefers the second one.
Do you not know? I'll give you that. Yeah, all of them were brilliant. Just so good.
I mean,
Taking no stance.
I loved Hugh Jackman in it, right? And I loved his art. I just thought the storyline was.
You loved
pretty
his
shit.
abs. Did you love his abs?
I loved his art.
Yeah, the storyline was a bit weird, wasn't it?
I just thought I felt as if it was like. No, how when they went,
Forced.
no,
They
no,
really wanted to force other people in there.
no, how,
Like,
no, how when they went to that crazy planet or the no man's land or whatever.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were there. They were there way too long.
I love that bit though. That was so good.
That's because you that many
it
cameos.
was a brilliant movie, though.
There was all the
I
cat
love
names
that
and
the
shit.
English
And it-
actor in
and it-
there from Spooks.
And then at the end, see when they were, I mean, that street looked like the most Hollywood set I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was
It was-
very fake. Yeah.
It was so fake. It was like I was waiting.
When all of them came out of the thing.
I was waiting. Look,
It was Hollywood
I
101.
was like, waiting in the things like falling down. Do you know what I mean? Like Blazing Saddles.
A bit of wind.
Yeah, and like a building falls flat.
That was a cardboard set, 100%.
It looked like the set that Elon Musk did the other day.
It was so cheesy looking.
Does everyone love Rob Delaney though?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Is that Peter?
Rob Delaney.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
Peter.
Peter,
yeah.
Moustache Man.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
I was talking like Rob McElroy or something.
I loved in the second one, see when he auditioned for the X Force,
Yes.
and he's looking at his headshot, and he's like, "I mean, like the same guy here."
Do you guys have Apple?
Yeah,
Have
No,
you
I don't
seen
have an apple.
have you seen-
Banana.
seen Bad Monkey?
I've watched a couple of episodes. I was waiting on it
nice.
finishing.
Snap.
Bad Monkey
Yes.
gets better. Gets better.
Vince
First
Vaughn,
couple of
I've
episodes
heard
are a bit. I've just finished episode 10. Fucking loved it. Rob
loved it?
Delaney is the best.
Oh, is Rob Delaney in it?
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
bad
right,
guy.
good.
He is so
joking?
good. He's
Yeah,
he's the guy with no arm.
I've only seen the. Oh no, he found the arm.
Yeah. So Rob
Oh, no,
Delaney,
maybe
it's his arm.
watched-
It's
right,
his arm
okay.
that's chopped off.
Right, okay.
Of-
It's the bad,
It's not really a
Spoiler alert.
spoiler because like episode 2 or episode 3, you know about
because
it.
it was week to week, and I'm like, I can't. And I started watching.
It's
I
fully
started watching
available. I just finished it.
Penguin,
It's
and I
fully
wish I
finished.
hadn't because there's only 3 episodes, and I'm like Johnny Five from Short Circuit. I need more input. I need more. And
Johnny
then I need to
Five
wait,
is
and
alive.
now I need to wait. I'm like,
Newton Crosby.
yeah, no, didn't.
By the way, guys, right? I think we should schedule an. We're not finished yet, by the way, not by a long shot, but we should definitely schedule an episode, us 3, talking about religion or something else that we can offend people.
We've just
and
done
just
for
go
an hour.
fucking deep in some horrible
What,
stuff.
what more do you want?
I'm up for that. Like, I'm not afraid of a conversation. I love these, even if I'm in the wrong. It's cool. I like a debate. It's so
To be
fucking
honest,
good.
I think in that last hour there, me and James were just talking pure sense, and you were just in a different.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're in the machine. You guys are in the machine. Basically,
You are the
everything you
machine.
said, I've seen on
You're a
TikTok.
blue pill guy.
Yeah, but everything you said, I've seen on TikTok this week.
Blue pill.
No, so the Vince Vaughn show. The Vince Vaughn show. I've not watched it. I've watched the first episode, and then when I realised it was episode week to week, I wasn't going to do it again.
Oh no, it's finished now. It's fully available.
Good.
And Vince Vaughn is one of those people that are really good and also quite annoying because he doesn't shut up. And it's if you're into Vince Vaughn, you like him. If you don't like Vince Vaughn, you
I
will
like
not
Vince
like
Vaughn.
him.
Did you ever see him in the True Detective?
Yes,
He was
that
great.
was good.
That
was
was
good.
one with Colin Farrell. That was a great
Remember that film he did where he was bald and he was a violent criminal?
Oh, that is
that was
savage,
nuts.
that film. Savage.
That was that was uber violent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like a scene
Brawl.
in this film. So in Bad Monkey,
Is it
he's
Brawl?
like,
It's called Brawl.
yes, that's it. He's like a dog with a bone. At no point do you think Vince Vaughn's aggressive in this film, but you forget he's 6'9" or whatever. And there's like one fight.
Is he that big?
He's a
I
good
just
6'4"
made that
anyway.
up. But he's in a fight, and you think, well, he's in Bad Monkey. He's playing this character of Vince Vaughn in this film, and he's just a wisecracking guy. But he gets in a fight, you go, he ain't gonna win this. And then within 2 seconds, when they stand up and the
Jason
one guy's up to his chest, up to his nipples, you're like, oh yeah, even if he's a Joker, he's gonna fucking kill this guy. And you believe Vince Vaughn's
Can I
gonna
just
fuck
can I
people
just
up.
say can you believe like 20 years later we've still not got a Wedding Crashers 2? Like how bad is that?
That
Or
was
an
a
old- or
cracking
an-
film.
Or an old school 2? These are the epic movies that were just, and yet they made Joker 2. It just doesn't make sense.
And I think they're bringing non-PC films back. They're trying to be a bit edgier now and again with some films as well.
Because if anything, Disney's proved that nobody's interested in woke garbage. Like even woke people don't want to watch woke garbage. Do you know what I mean?
I'd call myself semi-woke,
No.
and I like some. I like some.
What's the wokest thing you've watched and you went, "Oh, good on you"? Was it that Peter Pan thing?
Too many.
What was it? Peter Pan show where all the Lost Boys were girls?
Maybe the news. Don't know. He's 196. What's 196 feet?
He's about 6'5".
196
That's
centimeters.
6'5".
Yeah, 6'5.1.
Yeah. He's tall.
That's good. Oh, I was going to mention earlier, I forgot. James will love this if he's conscious enough. Right? Hello, Terrifier. Right? You know Lauren Lavera, the main girl with the wings in 2.
Yeah.
I'll comment on that in a second. That is a beautiful dog. She is the body double for Anya Taylor-Joy in Split.
Who's what?
Really?
Anya Taylor-Joy, the main girl in Split that gets kidnapped
I like that.
by James McAvoy. That is the lead girl from Terrifier 2 that is the body double. Not stunt double, but body double. So she's worked with M. Night Shyamalan already.
M. Night Shyamalan. What did he do recently? Oh, I like that film. See the one with Josh Hartnett?
Say that again?
The Josh Hartnett movie that he did with M. Night Shyamalan.
Trap.
I really enjoyed that.
Fucking brilliant. James
Loved it.
I hope there's a
It
sequel.
got really bad reviews. I loved it.
No, I loved it too. I thought he'd done a really, really good job, and I liked how.
Really cool. Let it open to a sequel as well.
I would say
hope
the
there's a
best
sequel.
Shyamalan.
I thought it was wicked.
I'd say better than Sixth Sense, and Split's the only one that I'd compare it with.
No, Unbreakable's some movie. Unbreakable's one of the best superhero movies you can get. Like it's like
I did like it.
It's like an intelligent superhero movie.
I did like that. That was a quality film.
And then the fact that he surprised us with Split with being a sequel, was even more of a master move.
Yeah. I love Split. I thought James McAvoy is one of the right, this is a phrase used too often, but I think it's true. Underrated actor. James McAvoy should be in everything, doing everything all the
I
time,
don't
all at
think he's
once.
underrated though, is he? Like, I think he gets his
He's
credits.
rated, but he's not been put in good enough films. He's been put in average films, and he's been the shining star.
But
He
he
should
does.
be in monster. He
But
should be in
James
a Christopher Nolan film. He should be in a Quentin Tarantino film.
James McAvoy does look like your everyday man, though, doesn't he? That's kind of. It does not. He doesn't have that lead male. There's
I don't
something
know.
kinda-
Have you seen the Don't Speak or seen
No, I'm
Speak
gonna
No Evil original yet?
No,
No, not yet.
and that Heretic that looks good too. With
Oh,
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant's on a London train now, isn't he? Like
I
he's just
Since The Gentleman, he is on another level.
wanking
He was
into a
so good
hanky.
in that, wasn't he?
It was so good. And
Is that my Wagyu steak?
like I think he's just been this great character actor that's been trapped in rom-com hell for like
So good in the
two
But
Gentleman.
decades.
but I do love him in rom-com. People give him shit, but like we were saying earlier, Notting Hill, fucking amazing. Four Winds of Funeral, fucking amazing.
But see, with Notting Hill, I was telling Kevin earlier, James, that I was letting my son watch Notting Hill. We were watching all these old 90s, 80s movies, and I was like, the frustrating thing about Hugh Grant and Notting Hill was would you like some tea? Like every 5 minutes, it's like every kind of monologue he had, would you like some tea in it? And it was like the most English, annoying. It just
Floppy haired prick.
Oh yeah, it was just some of the dialogue, and I know Richard Curtis made some epic movies, but some of the dialogue was. I think he's the best dialogue he's got. It was probably Love Actually, in regards to.
One of his best things ever was when
Right
they
that.
throw a loaf of bread at the duck
The what?
in a Bat Boy.
About a boy.
Oh, About a Boy's so
About
good.
a
Isn't it?
boys.
Kill the duck.
Nicholas Hoult is going strength from strength, and I'm going to contradict it by saying
He's
about
teamed
a
up
boy
recently.
is still the best.
He's Lex Luthor.
And he's about to be Nosferatu. Not actually Nosferatu, but he's about to be.
I can't wait for that.
Did you?
But I'm going to have to sign off, boys, because my battery's about to go.
Okay, James, take it. Nice
No
seeing
way.
you.
Are you shutting off?
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Trump 2024.
2 hours.
It's been 2
Trump
hours.
20,
I'm going to keep going
Trump
for a bit.
2024.
I just poured
And
myself.
get you a dark MAGA hat.
Do that.
Kev, send
do
me
that.
your cousin's details, and we'll get full Trump.
Yeah.
God, you two as a
Kev, actually send me his mobile number, and we will get WhatsApping about Kamala Harris stuff.
You've got
Yeah,
you've got his
100.
Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Instagram. Give me a mobile number.
Fucking hell. All right.
Drop.
You've-
We'll get dark MAGA hats next time we're on.
Is he frozen on your screen? He's frozen in mine.
He's
I can
frozen
hear
in
him.
mine, yeah.
Free view in a minute.
Right. Well, fuck off then.
Rude.
I got more. I got some movie news. I was about to say. You're gonna
Is
miss
that
out.
the Nicholas Hoult thing?
No. Is he gone, or is he just hanging about as a frozen fucking icon?
I
I
go
guess
there.
he's gone. So yeah, I mean, well, technically, this is the longest we've ever gone because we've done half an hour prior to this.
How good was Renfield though? How good was Nicolas Cage in that?
I loved Renfield.
I love Nicolas Cage. I don't think Nicolas Cage is, and he's done a lot of bad movies, but he's never actually been bad in them. Like,
No, and it got really brutal with like where Nicholas Holt's beating people to death with like their own limbs.
he did something else really good recently. Nicholas Hoult. Oh, did you watch the Greatest?
I was going to say, don't say the menu.
No, the show about he's a Russian oligarch.
Nicholas Holt.
Yeah, is it the Greatest? It's a period piece. It's a TV show.
Oh, yeah, The Great. Just
The
The
Great.
Great.
Oh, it's such a good show. By the way, it's funny.
I've not finished it. I've seen a bit of it. It was really good.
He's basically like the king of Russia or whatever. And he's not an oligarch. What do they call them? Like the Russian royals. What do they call them? son?
Oh God, where is
They
he?
had a title.
Peter Puchchev.
what does it say his title is? Like he's a
Oh, I can't
Russian.
find it.
You remember they were wiped out just post the First World War. What was that called?
Well, I'd say like I think Nick Cage has had some of his best stuff in recent years.
Yeah, Pig.
Pig is his favorite film of himself, and I haven't
Yeah,
seen it yet, and it annoys me. It's only because I'm waiting for it to become on Prime, and it's still like 10
right.
quid on Prime. It's doing my head in. But Nicolas Cage, I would say, oh fuck's sake, when
What
you
was the film he
type
did?
in Nick Cage into IMDb, it comes up with a different human.
What was the film that he played? That he played himself in it. The
Oh,
unbearable weight of being extremely talented, or whatever. That was a good movie
yeah, what's that? Who's that? The Unbearable Weight of
with
Massive Talent.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, that's it.
Good movie.
Tiffany Haddish, Sharon Horgan. That's a pretty good cast. But the film he did recently, I would say was the best film. Is it 23? It is. Fuck, where is it? I think it's 2023. And yeah, 23. Dream Scenario. Have you seen that?
No, looks good though. That's the one that everybody dreams of him.
Oh my God.
Is it good?
Oh my God. I've not seen.
I got kind of John Malkovich vibes from it, kind of,
No, it's not as weird as that. It's not as. It's
or Spotless Mind, Sunshine. What do you call that?
yeah.
What's
Eternal
that?
Sunshine.
Eternal
Eternal. Yeah.
Spotless Mind.
We got there. We got all the words, not in
Yeah,
order.
yeah.
But I think a lot of those films, when you talk about the best film we've seen this year, it's completely different when you talk about genres because the best film of 2022 was fucking Maverick, or it was Elvis. If you're talking about like a fun film, Maverick. If you're talking about that, but if you're talking about a different film, like a conceptual, intellectual film, it's completely different, and they're all
No,
the same sort of thing in the sense that Dream Scenario and Cat Person were the most unique films that I've loved on 2023. Have you seen Cat Person?
no.
I think it's on Netflix now. It'll blow you up. It's just so good. And it's not weird. It's just a good film that doesn't have explosions in it.
Right. I mean, again, it's a film when it's on. There's something really I love about it. Remember, do you ever see The Weatherman? Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
It's a
That was
great movie.
that was not a child's film, but it was
Michael Caine was in it. He was his dad. He was a weatherman, and then he started walking about with like a bow and arrow.
yeah.
He was walking about the streets with his bow and arrow. He was basically suffering a midlife crisis. His father he was losing his father and all this, and his job just didn't seem that important. It was a great movie, honestly. And again, when he done the Family Man, which was like a modern day version of Scrooge. It's a Christmas movie. You ever see The Family Man?
I have, yeah. That was good
T.L.
as well.
Brett Ratner movie. Great
Oh,
movie.
there was,
Such a good movie.
there was also a film I saw a couple of
But Nicolas
years
Cage,
ago.
I hope Nicolas Cage, and I'd love to see him get, because he is making all these crazy movies. What was the film that was really super violent?
The thing is, he does a lot of films, so even when you're like skinning
Yeah,
through, he does a lot of like random films as well.
I would just like to see him in. I don't know. I'd like to see him in a Tarantino movie. I'd like to see him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, Tarantino needs to fucking have him.
I,
Tarantino, like, obviously, he's famous for bringing back people from the
he
dead.
would do that research, wouldn't he? With the right diet. I mean, you think of Nicolas Cage in the 90s, Face Off, all those movies, man.
Con Air.
It was fucking epic.
Have you seen Con Air recently?
I have, and I was never a big fan of Con Air at the
Oh,
time
what?
because Hard Target came out about the same time, and I just felt as if
It's
Nicolas
the
Cage
same
was
look.
copying. And it
The
bothered
same
me.
hair, the same vest.
As a Van Damme fan, I was really offended by it. Put the bunny back in the box. There was a lot of it that didn't sit well. But when you watch it now, it's still a good movie. Do you know what I mean? It's got that whole. See that?
Yeah.
What's his
Beverly
name?
Hills Cop.
No. That's a Bad Boys theme. Who's the
Oh,
guy
yeah,
that
it
made,
is.
who's the guy that made Bad Boys and Transformers and that? Michael Bay. It's got
Bay.
this Michael Bay. Is that a Michael Bay movie?
Yeah, yeah, it
I'm
is.
pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
Michael Bay movies always look the same. There's always that upshot. There's always an American flag somewhere.
Like in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, like it's just like is Hot Fuzz not getting a sequel?
No.
Did I hear that? No.
No. Right, this is
Do
a
you not
film.
think do you not think Simon Pegg's went a bit snooty?
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I've
Watch
seen
Mum
the
and
trailer
Dad.
for that. They're nuts. They
It's
basically.
fucking so good.
But he's doing all these crazy violent movies like Five Nights at Freddy's and
I
just.
mean, that looks terrible. Well, that was terrible. I didn't even finish that. I just skipped through. It was the worst. It wasn't wasn't Five Nights at Freddy. It was like a take on it. Willy's Wonderland. That's what it
Willy's
was.
Wonderland, that's what it was, yeah.
Right. I forget it was in the Flash as that CGI Superman.
Yeah.
That was
Which
I loved the Flash. I don't
I
care if the
suppose
CGI was
I
shit. It was
don't
fun.
understand. I don't understand anyone that didn't love it. It was such a fun popcorn movie.
Exactly.
Do you
It's
know
not
what I mean?
meant. If it was a serious film, yes, it's shit.
If I
If
had
it's a fun
one
film, brilliant.
if I had one criticism, it was the fact that they killed Michael Keaton. I wasn't happy with that. They didn't need to do that. You know what I mean? But it was basically a kind of remodel of Back to the Future, wasn't it? Really, like.
Yeah.
But it was done. It was done really well. I really like. Well, who's the guy? Is it Ezra? What's his name? The guy that plays Flash. Is it
Yeah,
Ezra Miller?
Ezra. What's his first name? I will get it. 2 seconds.
I wanted
Ezra
to say
Miller.
Ezra Miller. I really like him as the Flash. I thought he was great in Justice League. I thought he was
Yeah.
great.
I
And again, that's what was going back to that point I was talking about the Superman, Batman. None of those films were appreciated. But see, when you honestly give them another go. Even if you've not watched them, even if you hated it, watch them
no,
again.
Batman and Superman was fun.
There's something
I
really,
didn't
really good
dislike
about
it.
them. And it's the first time they actually. And if you watch the Snyder cut of Justice League, it is such a good movie.
I think as well, a lot of these films, it was basically Justice League without saying it's the Justice League,
Yeah.
because it brought them in without them being main characters, and they were good subsidiary characters. When you make them all main characters, it's really boring because none of them are that good and we don't know enough about them.
Yeah.
They should be on the circumference, not main characters.
But I think the only thing that what happened with Justice League and the Superman, it was too soon after Christian Bale and the Nolan verse. It was like, it did feel as if we just went back 10 places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got this great, gritty version of Batman and everybody loved it. Everybody was on board. And then all of a sudden we're back to like comic book stuff. So people weren't really ready for it. If you watch it now, you can have a different, and again, you're like 10 years later, 15 years later, you get a different appreciation for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Ben Affleck wasn't bad or anything. It just wasn't right compared to Bale.
But then if you look at it, he fits the Batman as this huge force. He actually fits the cowl better, really, than Bale does, in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, Bale just gave us a kind of slash James Bond version of Batman. Do you know what I mean? Like,
saying that, have you heard? Excuse me. There's new news about the Bond thing, and I know we've brought this up multiple episodes, and it's probably boring for people to hear, but obviously everyone knows that
Aaron Johnson Taylor.
Aaron Thompson, yeah, he's like
I don't
the
think
main.
it's going to be him.
I would love it to be him because I love him. I think he's fantastic. Whether you even like him as an actor, I like him. But there's been a new person thrown to the ring this week, apparently, literally this week, and it's Callum Turner, which you may or may not know his name. You'll know his face. Did you watch Masters of the Air on Apple?
Yeah.
With Austin Butler?
Yeah.
So Austin Butler is not the main character. You know the main character?
Yeah.
Him.
No, I don't see him as.
He's British, and he's been in loads of stuff, but he's still kind of underground. James's point is that Bond should be an undergroundy person.
Well, I don't think he should be that good looking that it's distracting. Put it that way. Do you know what I mean?
It's not Austin Butler; it's the other guy.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, to be honest, I'm not the biggest James Bond fan, right? And at no point do I ever think anybody under the age of 38 should play James Bond. I think James Bond's he's so good at everything he does because he's got experience, and I think he should be that 40-year-old.
But then again, you've grown up with James Bond, and so have I, and he's always been an older man.
Yeah,
we're now that man, and we still want him to be older than us.
But then if you get a young guy, it's Jason Bourne. Then, isn't it? It doesn't become. I don't want another revamp of how James Bond gets started. I just want a mission. Send James Bond in. Let him be charming. Let him be sexist, womanizer. Let him be all those things. Let him drink.
Yeah, actually, that's like even as a person that
So
you
that's why,
you deem as wokish, I still would rather him go out womanizing and being a
it's
philanthropist or
fiction.
whatever.
Do you know what I mean? And that's why I wouldn't mind. I'm not a big, huge Tom Hardy fan, but I wouldn't mind Tom Hardy playing Bond. I would love Michael Fassbender. I would love even Colin Farrell. I think Colin Farrell lately has shown his acting chops to be
I
superb.
love him.
And I just think he would do something really, really interesting with Bond. Do you know what I mean? But I don't even think anybody would ever consider him,
Well,
which is a shame because I think that's who we need. Like,
I turned the TV on
rather
last
than these
night
young.
when going to bed, right? And we're just about to put on, like, I always forget that I've plugged the aerial thing in, so actual TV comes on, which no one watches. So every time I turn the TV on, things happen that is irrelevant, and I press the button straight away to go to home and pick a channel, as in a Netflix or a Prime or an Apple or whatever. And it just happened to be a scene where I turned the TV on and Tom Cruise is fighting a man above a stage, as in a theater stage, on a platform, and they're going at each other. And I think it's
Mission Impossible
Fallout. I think
Fallout.
it was Fallout. And
The
he
Opera
lands on this
House.
beam, and the guy's about to attack him. And then it cuts to Rebecca Ferguson, who is, I think I have a thing for her. Like, fucking hell. Rebecca cuts to Rebecca Ferguson, and then she's wearing that long dress,
Dress.
and then she
Where she's
hikes it
pulling the
up,
gun out her.
and it's
Pulling the
her
gun out.
full legs, and then she leans her sniper gun on her legs,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I need to change the channel quickly because I'm in bed next to Sadie. I'm like, I need to change the channel. This is too good.
But this is what, again.
But that's
Like,
what it's about. That's what Bond's about.
of
If you
course it
change
is.
that, what the
Well,
fuck is Bond?
Tom Cruise basically made his own James Bond. Do you know what I mean?
Basically,
Like, and he's done well with it. So I'd actually say the Mission Impossible films have been better than the Daniel Craig Bond films because they're more fun to watch.
the
Where
last few 100%. Yeah.
Daniel Craig's films, although they're good, they just kind of painted themselves into a corner with this vanity project that they done last, where they killed James Bond off. Spoiler alert! Like, it didn't need to happen. And again, I've never been about. I can watch all the James Bond movies, and I can watch them in any order, and it's just. But see, with Daniel Craig's, it's basically like a double trilogy. You need to watch them in an order, which is awful because
Yeah.
they're not about the missions. They're about this one villain that he's constantly pursuing. And even when Connery or Roger Moore were pursuing Spectre, it was just this kind of Spectre, Blofeld. It didn't matter.
Just a random bad guy, isn't it?
Aye, do you know what I mean? Like, it was all about just missions, mission to mission, and that's when
think-
Timothy Dalton came in. He didn't come in with let's revamp it. Nobody's, we don't, it's like, if we get another Batman, and I'm glad that
It's just continuing.
just continued. We don't need the backstory. We don't
Yeah.
need to see him training as a kid.
Well, like
If
you
you want
said,
to
they've
put a
got
couple of
plenty of bad
flashbacks.
guys, and it's only Adam West that's actually fought all of them because they
Yeah.
were in the same room at the same time hanging out.
But look at even Daniel Craig's. Why the best villain they actually put in there was who's the wrestler?
Not a clue. Oh, Dave
Who's
Batista.
Dave Batista. I remember he had like fingernails like a bag lady. That was his kind of thing. He had silver blade. I mean, but it was moderately entertaining. It was kind of right. At least he looks the part. Where's like the Jaws? Where's all these kind of super villains? Odd Job. They totally cut all that out, and it's like that's what
Wasn't
makes John...
wasn't Odd Job in the one with Thingy Bob? The guy who played Queen.
Goldfinger. Who?
Queen. Bohemian
No,
Rhapsody.
No,
Who's the guy who
that
played
was
Bohemian Rhapsody?
I-
Wasn't there Blofeld in that film?
an Odd Job. No, that was Blowjob. No, even with him, they done a scarring on his face, which was. But he was like in the film for about 8 minutes at the end.
I know.
Like, just so bad.
I was excited that he was a bad guy in the film, and he was hardly
know.
in it.
And I felt robbed. I felt like it was a total vanity project.
No Time to Die, wasn't it? That was it.
It was just like it was. I don't. And again, it was like watching Star Wars when they killed Han Solo. Spoiler alert. It was like you don't need to do that. And I think Tom Cruise proved that with Top Gun 2. There was an opportunity there just to kill them off and it all, but nah, they survived, and everybody was cheering at the end. And we don't get enough of those moments in cinema anymore because there's this. Well, let's just kill our heroes off, and that's basically you and I have grew up with the same kind of heroes, and all of a sudden they're still pulling them out of retirement. They're pulling Harrison Ford out. He's like 70, and they're bringing him in, putting him in the Millennium Falcon, only to kill him off. And it's like, I would rather you just
Remain the hero.
remain there. You don't need to bring him into the film. If you want to make him a cameo, but you don't need to bring these people back just to kill them off. And like, there's 24 James Bond movies, and Daniel Craig was the guy to kill them off. Like, so what? So they can refresh again and start all over again. Like, it's just boring.
Yeah, it's kind of like, obviously, even no matter what you just said, you're going to see the next Bond. You're just gonna. But are we excited about it? Probably not. I think the
It depends. It depends who's directing. It depends who's starring.
It's the actor that's
if
going to
it's
excite me
Kick-Ass,
the most.
If it's Kick-Ass, which again I'm not a fan. I like him, but I don't really see him as Bond.
Oh,
I don't care. I don't care what shape he's in. It's not, that's irrelevant.
When you see him go like the premieres with his bow tie, and you're like, fucking.
I know, but it's his hair. His hair annoys me. He's got this kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you'll have a haircut. You'll have a Bond haircut.
Nah, they probably won't. I just want my Bond to be a bit older. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
another Bond potential is James Norton. I didn't know the name. I had to Google it. He's the guy from Happy Valley, McMafia.
don't know.
He's just kind of a handsome British guy.
I don't think it'll be Aaron Johnson Taylor because it's out there. When Daniel Craig wasn't even in the radar, and they brought him out.
Oh, on a side note, what the fuck's her name again from Bond? I just said a minute ago.
From Mission Impossible, Rebecca
Ferguson. She they just announced. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Silo 2 from Apple. Did you watch Silo?
No, I didn't. It was good.
Oh, it looked boring, to be honest. I wasn't that interested. Sadie wanted to watch it, so I put it on, and I was like, and within half an episode, I was like, I'm in. I'm in.
Good. I'll give it a watch then.
Much better than I expected.
We're looking for again. Everything that's on the now is like week to week episodes, and we love a binge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, Silo's been fully available for like 2 years.
Okay.
The new series is coming out middle of November in about.
I think I had watched Halo, and I think I was just kind of sci-fi'd out. You know that way you just everything seemed to be sci-fi at that period. So I'd watched a lot of sci-fi things, and then I was like, right, I've had enough sci-fi.
And a lot of them are bad as well. A lot of them are bad.
Halo was okay, but it was a bit pointless in a sense. You know what I mean? I know
I've not seen that. There's what's the one on Apple that came out not that long ago that was good. That was all that sci-fi stuff. Just looking now.
Oh, the one with Dark Matter.
Bingo.
Great. I love that show.
I enjoyed that. That was really good.
Again, Jennifer Connelly. She's kind of understated in a sense.
Jennifer Connelly is a little bit, like Rebecca Ferguson for me. Like,
she's the dark horse. You know what I mean? And she was great in Top Gun.
Oh, incredible! And
like,
the new one out at the moment is Disclaimer.
I've not seen that.
With Kate Blanchett.
Disclaimer.
Only one episode on Apple.
I've seen the trailer for that. That's the one she's getting blackmailed. She's a reporter.
Something like that.
She's this award-winning documentary filmmaker, sorry, and then somebody's putting the focus on her.
There's enough. There's enough teasing to it that makes me want to watch it, and I don't want to look too much. I want to wait for it to finish because it looks too good.
Kate Blanchett's amazing as well. She's again.
I mean, I went to see Borderlands purely because Kate Blanchett was in it, and I was pissed off.
You wonder why they actually look at that and go, "I will make that."
I know, and who thought Kate Blanchett? Kate Blanchett's the only reason. Oh, there we go. That's why. Kate Blanchett's the only reason I went to see it, because she's a reputable actor. If she was involved, maybe it might be quite good. Just poor choice.
I've not seen it. It just reminded me of Tank Girl. Remember Tank Girl? In the 90s, it was the worst film.
It's not on Tank Girl, man.
It was like the worst film ever. I was like, that looks like Tank Girl. I don't think I want to watch that.
I'd watch Tank Girl. If they remade Tank Girl, I'd be up for that.
A lot of metal music over the soundtrack for that one, eh?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of punk and metal and stuff. Right. We've probably gone on too far.
Probably.
Before we leave, was there anything else I was going to say? What would you say as the thing you've watched recently, whether it's TV, streaming, whatever, film or series, would you recommend for the person listening to this to watch?
Well, as I was telling you, I started watching Penguin, and although I'm only on the third episode, and again it's week to week, I really wish I'd waited till it was fully complete so that I could just immerse myself in it. But there's just something, I don't know, there's just something really good about it. It's got a lot of heart, which you're not really expecting. I won't tell you anything about it. The storylines, you kind of know where it's going because it's obviously you know that Oswald Cobblepot, where he ends up, he becomes the kingpin of the city. So this is him kind of working his way up. So he's basically, it takes place literally days after the Batman. So it starts literally from the floods from the Riddler, and that's where the film stands for. So basically, because of this, there's a vacuum in the city of who's taking control. So Oswald Cobblepot is like the Penguin. He's like this mid management guy, but he's got the idea that and what it's about him playing other ganglands against each other. He's kind of trying to be friends with everybody, but really he's got his own plan. And there's another character in it, that this young kid that he kind of takes under his wing, and he takes him under because obviously Oswald Cobblepot's got a club foot. That's why he walks. That's why he gets called a penguin, because he walks like a penguin because he's got like a club foot.
Yeah.
So this other kid who he's about to kill, but the kid's got a stutter. So you can see that he takes pity on him because obviously he's kind of. And there's just wee gems, like he takes the subway with this kid, and there's two empty seats sitting in it. They're disabled seating only, but he's standing, and it's the kids looking at him as if, why don't we sit down? But you can see like
Got pride.
he's got pride, and it's kind of like, remember Midnight Cowboy, Dustin Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
When Dustin Hoffman was trying to think of the character to play, he saw this guy who had a disability with a bad leg, but he was walking faster than everybody. He was brushing past everybody. He was the fastest guy on the street, and he said, "That's my character. That I'm that guy." And that's how when he's crossing the road, he's always. If you watch Dustin Hoffman, he's always in a hurry because it's like the disability's not going to define them. He's not going to be a slow limper. He's going to walk
That makes
faster than a
sense.
guy with. Do you know what I mean? And the Penguin has that kind of
Determination.
determination, and it's like
Positive
if it's
outlook.
and the fact that he looks this grotesque way, but you're rooting for him. And see, when you're watching a show and you start rooting for him, you know they're giving you something good.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching that going, I can't wait till this guy gets flung off a roof, it's not doing its job right. You're rooting for him.
I mean, it's kind of full circle and in the same universe that we are rooting for Joker in the first Joker.
Exactly. Because that's
not in the second one.
Every villain, and that's when you ask an actor, like, how did you play such a grotesque? Well, even if you're playing Hitler, you need to look for the humanity in them. Because nobody wakes up and goes, I'm going to, unless you're a psychopath. But there's backstory there. There's something that makes you go a certain way. And I think that's what for Joker, it was the cruelty, everything round about him, the horrendous abuse and all that, and that's what made him go that way. And to be honest, the Penguin is pretty much the same. He's obviously had a hard time growing up with a disability. His mother is, again, a bit psychotic and things like that. Again, so I don't want to spoil it too much, but
it's all logical, you know. It makes all these bad people, are they bad, or are they a result of their upbringing or society or other things? So when you see these things where all these people have done a murder, of course that's horrendous and you want to punish them, but do they need medical attention more than they need prison?
Well,
probably.
What you need is, you and I, Kevin, have the potential to be the worst human beings that ever walked the earth. It's there if we want it, but we tap into.
I'm lovely. What are you on about?
No, but you've got the potential just to. It's a choice. I think it's a choice to go. If you're sitting in your car and somebody cuts you off, it's a choice whether you just ignore it, honk your horn for a second, or if you road rage and drive into the back of them, or you jump out your car. It's a choice.
Definitely thought about it more than once.
And one bad choice leads to a million worse choices. And that's how, if you watch these things, like, there's always a moment, whether you choose to do that or you choose to do that, that's the defining moment.
The sliding doors moment.
Sliding doors, do you know what I mean? So,
I've always said to people, I've even said to me and Sadie were chatting the other day, and I always like to think of myself as a good person, but if I was walking down the street and someone kicked my dog, I would go overboard. I would,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hurt them. I'd go berserk. I would look like an insane person.
I feel that way about any kind of bullying, horrible situation. I'm actually really, I like to think I'm really a delicate person, and I genuinely hate violence. I don't like violence at all. Do you know what I mean? But if I see things like somebody being a bully, it takes me up a notch
Yeah,
to
100%.
to almost blind anger. And again, somebody being cruel to an animal or something, it's just. But again, if you take that too far,
I, I, me and Sadie were having a conversation the weekend about stuff like this, and it went a bit possibly too far. But we're being real, and like everyone when they're grown up gets a bit of bullying, gets a bit of something. Because no matter how tough you are, there's always a bigger kid at school, or the year above or whatever. And I remember saying, I was trying to work out the pivotal point where I became a shy,
aggressive.
nervous kid to aggressive and confident. And I wouldn't say I'm aggressive and confident. I'm just saying you bring that out of yourself when it's necessary to
It's a
survive.
defense mechanism.
Yeah, and all the way through school, I remember when I went from primary school to secondary school, like when you're 11, you'll have heard it because it's the same. Kids these days probably don't know about it, but you are threatened the fact you're going to big school, you're going to get bog washed. Like, what's that? Well, when you start school, you get initiated to put your head down the toilet and flush the toilet. And that's how you grow to be a man or whatever. And it's ludicrous. And I went to secondary school as an 11, 12-year-old.
Wash.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was like a big thing. And I remember I went to secondary school, and because at little school, I was one of the tougher kids at school in the sense that you'd punch each other and give each other dead arms or dead legs, and that was it. And the one that could stand it were the hardest were the toughest. And I was classed as one of the toughest. And then we went to this secondary school, and I did the same. I picked on a person because I knew they were one of the bully guys, and I went, "Can't bully me," and gave him a dead arm. And he turned around and went to punch me in the face and skimmed my nose just. And I was like, shell shocked. I was like, these people hit each other in the face. I was
Yeah.
like, this is awful. But I got bullied for about 2 years after that because I picked on the wrong kid. I wasn't picking on someone as a bully. I was picking on the self-defense, picking on the person that was a bully, that was identified as a bully. So I picked on the bully to say, you can't bully me. And then I got bullied for 2 years.
And it turns out you can.
Yeah, and the only time I fought back was one of my best friends. He was getting picked on by the same people, and we were on the opposite side of the road on the walk home from school, and they crossed the road going to punch my friend who was beside me. So I grabbed my friend, moved him the other side, and when he went to hit my friend, I he did hit me. He did actually smack me in the jaw, but I grabbed him by the throat during the punch, which did nothing because you're an 11-year-old kid. You're not going to knock me out. He just went like that. And I grabbed the kid by the throat and slammed him against the curb. I just meant to slam him on the floor, but I hit his head on the curb quite badly, and he rolled into oncoming traffic. Luckily, it was a slow area zone because of the school, and he didn't get crushed. But I didn't try and help him. I was like, "Fuck you! If you get hit by the car,
You
fuck
could
you."
have ended up in juvie.
Well, yeah, I went a bit over
See,
the top, but
I hated school. Like school was my school. My high school had the biggest population in a school, the biggest population in Europe. It was like over 2,000 students. You know what I mean? So when you watch those films, people going into prisons for the first time, and there's all the hey,
yeah,
pretty boy, all that kind of stuff, looking at the fresh fish. That's what it felt like going into school. You know what I mean? You had all, and the problem was obviously it was Motherwell. You had all these different areas, and they all went
that's
to
in
this school.
Glasgow. Just
So no, so it was, and I mean, I only got into a couple of fights at school, and I hated it. It was like I used to confuse, although I trained and all that. I didn't start training properly until I was about at least getting into high school, and I used to confuse adrenaline with fear. Do you know that way when you
yeah,
shake? I mean, as a kid, I used to think, oh, that means I'm scared. Do you know what I mean? But it's not.
you're ready to go.
Yeah, as my dad used to say, before a rocket takes off, the earth shatters, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah, yeah.
rocket. That's your adrenaline. That's your defense mechanism. And I used to just think, oh, I must be scared. Do you know what I mean? Although I had physical capabilities, I just didn't know how to channel it. And until I did, and then when I did learn it, I went, well, this is really easy. You know what I mean? But it wasn't at school. Like I think I'd left school before I discovered that one. But
Oh, when
during
you're in
school,
college, you become potentially
I
dangerous if
I, I
things
was
don't.
I was definitely a late bloomer in regards to like knowing my abilities
Do you know why I might
at
have
that
been an early
age.
bloomer? I might have been an earlier one because of you, because of your sort of confidence and martial arts and all that sort of shit, and that gave me a lot of confidence at school. Whether I thought I could do it or couldn't do it,
I was probably
thanks.
faking it at that point.
Yeah, but that's fine. You
At that,
faking it made me feel like I could do it, so you gave me
yeah,
that confidence, and I
I,
think that's that's a that's a I think a positive thing. Girls or boys should have the confidence to be able
yeah.
to
And that
protect
was the thing,
themselves.
Kevin, because even then, I always had the skill at a very early age. I was always too afraid to really. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew what I could do to a bag. I knew what I could do to pads. I knew what I could do
Yeah,
to chipboard walls. Do you know what I mean? And I thought if I do that to somebody, I'm going to murder somebody. Like I genuinely felt that way. It was like, and that was the kind of fear thing, like, or the
yeah.
adrenaline thing. Like, if I had to have went off then, like when I was 13, 12, 13, 14, if I had to went off, I would, oh, something really bad would have happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm glad I didn't. Although it took, and again, I had my big brother. He kind of, oh, you better deal with that kind of thing. Now, like, I would let things slide because again, if somebody cuts me off in a car
Yeah,
now,
and your big brother's not exactly the calmest of all of
no,
us
I
either.
know, no, he's the opposite of that.
He's
So
quite happy to have a scrap as well. Yeah,
exactly, so he would encourage that kind of like, oh, you better go and do that, and you were kind of forced to it in a sense, just to kind of,
yeah, but that's the era we got brought up in. I
of
spoke
course
about
it
this
is, yeah,
before. My Kate, who's a listener, um, she really loved an episode where me and you were chatting, and we're talking about things like that. Like we're brought up by Schwarzenegger and Van Damme, and we love those people, but it did teach boys of the 80s to fight rather than have a conversation.
but I don't think,
But
but I
you
think
still
boys
need
will always
that.
fight.
You still
Do you know what
still
I
you
mean?
still need that.
I think boys fought before the television was even invented. Do you know what I mean? I think what
Fair.
those films
Yeah.
did for me was define that there's good guys and bad guys, and I never wanted to be the bad guy. Some people watch things. Some people watch Batman and the Joker, and they go, "I want to be the Joker," and some people want to be
I
Batman.
want to watch the world burn.
And that is a fact. And you watch these things,
Yeah.
and you go, "But I always watch these things. My heroes were always the good guys." But some people
Well,
don't. But
going back to the point you made earlier, like hitting people and you were scared to hit people because you know what you damage you could do to a bag. You know, again, I wouldn't say I'm nowhere near as tough or as big physically as yourself, but well, I'm not, am I? Like, you know, you're a bigger human being than me. But I always had a problem with punching people. Like, I've been in lots of fights, and I don't know how many times I've punched. It's under five in the face in an actual fight. I've usually grappled because I did judo, and even though I did karate and kickbox and stuff like that, I never did because I was so scared that if I hit someone and clocked them the wrong way, I'd break their jaw, I'd put myself in prison, or I'd
yeah,
hurt them. So it was usually a grappling scenario.
it's something you need to get over because if it,
I'm not
it's,
tough enough to break a jaw. Yeah,
but
that's
if
what you're saying.
it's also in a situation, but I found that it's either it's you or him. Do you know what I mean? It's
Well, it's not. It wasn't a life or death situation. Sometimes,
but it
if
could be though. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. Whether it's something trivial, I'm not being funny. Somebody could hit you in a supermarket, and if you fall and crack your head the wrong way, you're dead.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
I remember watching Coronation
the,
Street when I was like 12, and someone punched someone and they hit the head on a curb, which is
you
what I
died.
did to someone at school, and they died. And I'm like,
Well,
fuck,
I
I'll
know people
never hit
that
anyone.
I know people that that's happened to, and it's always planted a seed in my head where these things can happen, and there's a hesitance there always
Yeah.
that I don't want to just in case.
The,
You know what I
the,
mean?
the
But
there was a funny situation. I say it was funny because I'm the only one that had blood on me, but there was a funny situation where
is
well
this
I
the
was
mosh pit again?
no, 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 no. I was in Islington in North London, and I had been used to living in Hampshire as a teenager in early 20s, so fights were frequent, and nothing much happened. It was just a few hits, nothing, no such thing as knives or guns or anything aggressive. And
Change days now.
I was in Islington, and I'd only been there less than 6 months, I'm guessing, and I was with my new friends. There was a few of us and a couple of girls, and we had one of those tables just in the middle of the floor, like a big stool. You put your drinks on it, and we were doing a little bit of dancing. It was like a not drum and bass. What's the music? Dubstep. It's like a dubstep evening, and we're there. Not my normal kind of music, but it's good. And our drinks got thieved, and drinks are not cheap in London when you first moved to London in 2010. So they all went to the toilet, and I was standing there on my own, and I moved 3 foot away from it and put my back to it and kept my eye on it. Two guys came over and mindswept, took a couple of drinks, and their hands were full. And I grabbed both of them by their esophagus, not strangled or not grabbed by the throat. I grabbed literally the breathing pipe of their throats. I was a bit tipsy and I probably went a bit too far, but I grabbed
10
them
seconds,
both.
Kevin.
But there was 3 of them, but I grabbed 2 of them, and I only have 2 arms.
And one was your dick.
No, the third guy came in the middle and punched me square in the nose when I had the other 2, but I didn't let the other 2 go. So I dropped them to the floor, and the bouncer came over and went, "What the fuck you doing?" I went, "Oh, I've been stealing all night." And he grabbed all 3 of them by the scruff of the neck, threw them out, and went, "Sorry, mate, can we get you a round of drinks?" I was like, "Yes, please."
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
I was like, that's the one and only aggressive moment in the entirety
Happy
of
ending.
London.
If you can avoid it, avoid it. But again, some things you just can't. Especially when you're working in that environment,
Yeah.
and you're the first and last line of defence at the door. Do you know what I mean? It's non-negotiable.
Well, as a doorman, you've got responsibility for a lot of civilians, not just yourself,
Yeah.
but ultimately yourself.
But myself always, and I
Yeah.
don't apologise for that. Like
You
I'm there.
shouldn't.
I'm there to open my door for people. I'm there to meet and greet people, and I'm not there to be assaulted. Do you know what I mean? I'm not there to be
You're there to make
abused.
people feel safe.
No, I see. And see, the thing is, Kevin, I've never got into a fight in a night out in my life ever. Never got in a fight on a social night out. Do you know what I mean? If I see people, if somebody bangs into me, I'll apologise. I go, sorry, even though I know it's not my fault, just to be that guy. That's who I am by nature,
Yeah.
because I know how it ends otherwise, and it's not worth the hassle. It's definitely not. There's that 2 seconds of hitting somebody, the pain and drama that comes after that. It's just not worth it. And I've been in that situation too many times, and it's just it's just stressful.
It could ruin your life doing a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. But on that note,
yes. Well, thank you very much for listening. This has been the longest episode ever, and I hope you've enjoyed it, because I have. Anyway, don't go anywhere yet. I'll press stop, but don't go anywhere.
Okay. Right,
thank you for listening to episode
69.
Boom.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time.